Live the World Swimming Championships with EDF, proud partner of swimming.
Welcome back to sunny Barcelona. And, we have prelims coming up for you from the men's 3-metre springboard, and it's going to be a real feast of diving today. Prelims followed by semi-finals, and then we'll get to that women's 10-metre platform final. We've got a gold medal on offer today for the women in the pool. That'll be this afternoon. But for now, it's all about qualifying through to the semi-finals. 46 divers starting out. That's our start list for the men's 3-metre springboard across 6 rounds of diving. So as I said, a real opportunity to see just about every single dive in the book, and to certainly catch up with those divers that you've been following on Eurosport over the last few seasons. We've got the new Universiade champion, Yevgeny Kuznetsov, who took down the Olympic champion in Kazan, but Ilya Zakharov looking for revenge here, and also looking for that one medal that he still doesn't have, the gold medal from a World Championships, to add to his 3 Europeans and his gold medal at London in the Olympic Games last year. To do that, as always, they're going to have to get past the Chinese challenge. And Qin Kai, former world champion from 2007, going up against the man that has won it twice and looking for a third one, He Chong, who also took Olympic bronze to go with Qin Kai's Olympic silver. They are in a very impressive lineup. But it's not about medals this morning. It's all about getting through your 6-dive programme and getting in to that top 18. Well, as always, Chris Snowd alongside me. Divers just going through their last warm-up phase before we head into this monster coverage of the prelims.
Yeah, this is really one of the hardest diving competitions out of the programme we're going to see to get into the semi-final, let alone the final. We have those 46 divers, 22 are returning from 2 years ago, and we actually have 6 of the Olympic finalists from London, and of course we have the gold, silver and bronze medalists included in that. This is really tough. I think just to try and get through to the semi-finals, the top 18 or the 18th place will be around about 400. So we'll see where it goes. Yeah,
looking forward to a high-class springboard competition. There's your list, the start list. The favourites smattered about through that list. They don't all get grouped together. It's how the draw comes out. As we move down through the 46, what we did is we sat down before we came on air today and just started working through with the highlighter pen to see which divers we thought would go through to the semi-finals. It didn't take us long to fill up that draw. This is going to be a really tough qualification procedure today. And then remember, they go from 18 to 12 for the final, and we're going to lose another 6. So a lot of divers going to go away disappointed. And in the 10-metre yesterday, we had some really big names go out of that competition. So don't be surprised if you see a couple of big names under pressure in this sort of quality of field. So last page to come on our start list. Just about be ready to go, and huge representation. The Olympic champion going at 34, but a lot of countries involved in this one. Zakharov will be desperate to get himself through and into the final in good shape. We'll finish with Reni Raul Hernandez of Cuba. Is diver 46, so he'll finish each of the rounds off. And as I said, 6 rounds of diving to come with 46 divers. As you've probably worked out now, that is a lot of diving in the Barcelona sun today. And we'll be back with all the action after the break. Stay with us.
Every Pringles can is full of fun. The more you play, the more you smile. Pringles, get the party started. Now buy 2 cans and get your Pringles disco speaker to amp up your summer nights.
Give your home a facelift with stunning new windows and doors. And wouldn't let low-maintenance roof trim be a weight off your mind. Or make more room for visitors. Right now, the dream is on with up to 50% off home improvements. Call 0800 500 600. Anglian Home Improvements.
Welcome back to Barcelona. Once again, the superb conditions here. We hope we'll do something to alleviate the situation that so many are going through in Spain at the moment, and we will now observe a minute's silence in honour of the victims of the tragic rail accident yesterday in Santiago. Beautifully observed minute of silence. Very difficult situation for the people of Spain today, but decided to continue with the World Championship diving today.
We remind the public to remain silent during the execution of the dives.
And if you've just joined us, 46 divers here in Barcelona this morning, trying to get through this prelim stage of the men's 3-metre springboard. We're going to start each round with Andrzej Szeszetek of Poland. Diver that we've seen in action a lot on Eurosport recently, and he seems to just be coming into some form at this World Championships. Has a very good opportunity to get through this round. Top 18 from 46 go through. It really is a brutal cut, and then from there we go 18 to 12 from the semi-final to the final. And just looking down our dive list, we've got Olympic champions, we've got double world champions, single world champions, triple European champions, a lot of decent divers lining up for this one. But for the first part of the day, it's all about who can get through in this phase. As always, alongside me, our Eurosport diving expert Chris Snow to cast his eye over the proceedings as Szeszetek gets this competition underway. And a tidy start from the Polish diver.
Yeah, we've seen Szeszetek before. In fact, 2 years ago, he was in the prelims, didn't get through to the semi-finals, and he's looking a lot tidier now, a lot sharper. Hasn't got a huge degree of difficulty. If he's consistent though, can get close to those 400 points that I predict, then he might squeak into the semi-finals.
Yeah, about 60, mid-60s to give yourself a solid chance. Blaha dived the 1-metre springboard for Austria and dived it well. Same dive for him. I did like the pike. It really is very tight from Konstantin, and then a lovely entry as well.
Yeah, this was actually a better in with 2.5 because of the speed. Very fast, and because of the rotation, he finishes slightly above the board and has even more time for the lineup.
Great start, 73.50. Konstantin immediately putting himself in decent position. Jack Law of Great Britain. Well, we know all about Law. He really is a talent in the making, isn't he, Chris? He's just a little bit raw, needs some work still.
Well, he's been working very hard. That was a great twisting 2.5. Very easy, 3.4. Finished 8th in the Olympic Games last year. Sort of the one to watch out for.
Beautiful opener from him. Tommaso Rinaldi, sorry, gets things underway. Will be watched, I'm sure, by the Domenico on the pool side.
Again, very good takeoff, not too close to the board. Could have pulled into the pike just a little bit more, but spotted on the entry.
Sub 70, very high quality start from the first four, 46 divers. Liang Hui, we've seen him in action a lot over this championships in individual and synchro. Just getting pushed forward off the board, but a very tidy entry.
He made it quite easy, didn't he? Good timing here. Weights on the board, but then just a little lean forward. He dropped his weight forward on his toes. Just drifting out of that. Could be a little sharper.
Good start, though, from the Malaysian diver. Daniel Ilas, first time we've seen him in action at these World Championships for Mexico. And again, didn't quite get the takeoff right and just let that one wash over.
He was actually out of the somersaulting part too late before going into the twist. So he throws, but he should have been out already. And now because of the pike downs too late, he washes over on the end. We're going to see a lot more of him. He's got some big dives coming up.
Yes, his tariff may save him, but that's not a great start from Ilas. Jorik de Bruin of the Netherlands. You'll remember Jorik for his rather unusual leg position in the pike, but side-on judges don't see that. It's only that end on camera that we have the opportunity to see that will expose his unusual leg position. Let's see, as he's whipping round through that dive, judges can't see much other than the side-on view.
Yeah, that's right. This is the first of the back 2.5s. Really does need to lock out those knees a little bit more. Slight pull over on the end. That's a miss then. 60 points.
Yes, in this company certainly is. Janice Alvarez, saw him in the synchro competition, from the Dominican Republic. And not a particularly tidy start, unfortunately, from the youngster.
Two main problems there. One was the feet. So we'll see the throw. Now out for the twist. Feet coming apart. And then lifting the chest up. So you see an arch in the back going through the water.
Already the divers, well, low 60s and down into the 50s under pressure. Kim for Korea. Very nice tight pike from him. We're going to see the same dive from Lorenzo and Contreras of Venezuela also.
I did actually start to count how many Materna halves we're going to see in this round, and I gave up. There's lots of them.
We're going to see a lot, yes. 46 divers and a lot of them doing this dive. 63 is fine for Kim. This is Lorenzo. Venezuelan divers drawn side by side. Tidy enough. So Lorenzo will be followed by Contreras.
Went in straight. Did move away from the diving board though. Hips are moving back. So he feels slightly slow. That's why he's really hugging those legs to try and increase the rotation.
Again, mid-50s. Be interesting to see what sort of score that scrap for 18th place is going to develop at. Dixon Contreras. And that's not as good as his compatriot and too far away from the board.
Yeah, but once you start to move in that direction, away from the board, the dive is slow. No matter how hard you pull into the pike, you just can't get the dive around.
Yeah, it's just 48 marks, and that is a problem already.
Well, maybe we'll see some 80-point dives here.
Entirely possible. Yevgeny Kuznetsov, the new Universiade gold medalist. He dives side by side with Ilya Kvasha, so Russia against Ukraine. Nice little head-to-head here. And they'll be doing the same dive as well. Just couldn't stop it, could he, that one, unfortunately?
Yeah, that was a potential to go big scores. Good jump, He jumped into the camera, actually. Very good takeoff, just lost it on the entry.
68 marks, supported by the degree of difficulty. Does look really sharp, though, Kuznetsov, no doubt about it. Now, Kvasha, we know how brilliant this man is on the 1 metre. Still waiting for him, really, to deliver on the 3 metre. He's diving without pressure, though, Kvasha. Pretty good individually in the synchro competition with Prigorov. Same dive and much better entry.
Well, this could be the first, well, it's definitely going to be the highest score of the competition so far. Great jump, good tuck, finishes high, very definite on the out.
Yeah, there we go, our first 80, 81.60 from Ilya Kvasha. Jamjami of Indonesia. Indonesian divers have not looked particularly sharp. They've got quite high tariff programs, but need work, and that is a far better dive than we've seen. So, good individual start from Jamjami.
Yeah, good effort there. Head up a little bit on the first part of the somersault. He's definitely got timing on that board, though.
Yes, and the synchro competition didn't show too much by way of synchronisation with his partner, but individually that's solid. Now here's the man chasing a 3rd gold medal, which will be a record, the bronze medal from the Olympic Games at Jong. And the 2-time world champion shows us how it's done in the opening round. Lovely out.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he's not doing a back 3.5 somersault. This is just 3.0. Maybe he's having problems on it. Just out a fraction early, having to pull the dive around.
See, I love that. 72 marks. I see a classic out. You see room for another one. Another summy in there.
Stick another one in there.
Nicolas Garcia dived with his brother in the synchronised competition. Unfortunately, didn't get on too well. And just struggling again with the height from the board. Spain has another competitor in the form of Javier Ilana, a big name in springboard diving.
So this is the easiest dive that we're going to see in the competition, and only he's doing it. It's just 2.7. Every other diver has got a 3.0 or higher.
Got a dive to fit in there for Cho of Korea, but done competently.
The trick for these difficult dives, and this is like a mid difficulty, is to make them look easy. There was just too much movement because the head was down. Judges didn't like it.
These divers that we're seeing in the 50s and low 60s are the divers that we feel will be battling it out for 18. Chris Mears then, second of the British pair. Jack Law already gone, and a fantastic opener for Jack. Super opener for Chris as well. British team in and supporting.
It'd be great if he can reach the form that he had in the Olympics, where he finished 9th, and he got 100 points on his last dive. He's going to do the same dive in this list in round number 6. So, reasonable start there. Just under 70 points. That's his easiest dive at 3.0.
Twister to start for Yahel Castillo. First time we've seen Yahel in action here at these Worlds. Oh, caught the board just right there and got some serious height.
You can tell, can't you? They just seem to ping up in the air. It feels like a catapult and goes very high. He's now travelling up over the 5 metre before he starts to drop, does the double twist. Very good.
Yeah, what a lovely dive to open, and the judges agree. 85. Very good start for Castillo, and a very nice 3 divers here with Harsting to finish. Yeah, and well, that's a massive splash off the knee save.
Yeah, just a little bit too early. Well, a little bit later, we'll be looking at a dive that nobody else is doing in the competition. He's doing it in round 6. And I'll highlight it then.
So 63. By Harsting standards, that is an okay start. Twister then for Riley McCormick. Canadian. Toes a little over the end, and then that little flutter at the end of the dive with the feet.
Yeah, he's got problems there. Dropped his arms early in the hurdle step. Really does have a problem with those feet.
Even more exaggerated on the slow motion. 61.50. Riley has advanced in competitions before, so he'll be looking for 18, top 18 at least. Chu for Malaysia. We've already seen his partner Ui off to a good start. Malaysia here with a strong team. Just lacking a little height there at the start of that dive.
And the movement on the arms coming out was just slightly in front of his face. It's hard to get a good rip entry. There's an entry where there's a little splash. There you can see just getting caught on the forearm as he's going through the water.
Just the 54 marks as we hit the halfway stage of this first round. Stefan Feck is our halfway marker, and the German to get his campaign underway. Well, a little bit further away from the board than he would have liked to have been, but individually in the synchro competition, Chris, I thought Feck dived a little better than Housding.
He had sharper entries. Housding was just a little rugged, but he's diving individually here too, along with Feck. We'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, that'll be, well, interesting to see if Germany can qualify both through to the next round. They should be able to. Hong Kong. And Shi Zhen. Just seem to have so much more time than Chu of Malaysia.
Yeah, if you're spinning very fast, you finish the dive earlier, and it gives the impression of being higher, even if you don't jump particularly high. Good acrobatic ability.
63 marks. Could have squeezed maybe a couple out more than that. Now, Chola Chanchuria of Georgia. Same dive as we've just seen from Xi. Just that right foot just slipping back as he made the bounce on the board, and that gave him a little stuttering start.
Yeah, you can see that his feet aren't even, and that's quite dangerous. If he'd slipped off, his legs would have completely buckled.
58.50 for Chola. Norway and Espen Valheim. Just a little sluggish away from the board, but he's actually spun really well and got a good dive out of that.
Yeah, he was uncomfortable on the end of the diving board. Could you see his feet go flat early? Just head up there. He is getting stronger, though.
Dived a lot in the Universiade and then used that as a warm-up for this competition, and 68.20, pretty good for Espen to start. So Sebastian Morales of Colombia. He tried very hard to make that dive work, and it looked good for the first two-thirds.
Yeah, the problem on the entry was caused by the start, though. Just that little lean back. Once you come out, your body still seems to drift in the rotation. That's why he went over.
Mid-50s again puts you immediately in the mix. Castro of Brazil, very exciting diver, Castro. Very athletic and aggressive, and if he can control what he's doing, then he certainly could make top 18.
They just head down in the wrong position. That's that little wobble in the middle.
67.50, and Chris, as you pointed out, 402 points or thereabouts to qualify, so that's where you need to be, 67 points per round to get there. Chin Kai, and a super start from Chin Kai, already has the synchro gold from this competition with He Chong, and won this championship back in 2007 and still looking good.
Yeah, just feet a little flat then going through the water.
Wow, 67.50.
Yeah, marked him down.
Well, he's looking a little glum there, but this is not traditionally an area that China have dominated in. Japan, not a great start, I'm afraid, from Sho Sakai. Actually, the USA are the most successful springboard divers in World Championship history with 6 golds. China have 4, and then Russia, after that, have 9 medals across the board. So those are the 3 powers in this area.
And talking about the domination, this could be one of the competitions that there could be an upset. I mean, with Qin Kai, he missed 2 years ago. He actually finished 4th, and everybody was predicting him to possibly win the competition.
So a big welcome to the board for Javier Lana, in the twilight of his career, but still classy.
I think in about another 2 World Championships, the back 2.5 pike will be in the minority and will be back 3.5s. That's the way the diving's moving at the moment.
Be very much old school, won't it? 72 marks for Javi. Has a real chance to go through. He'll have a lot of crowd support. And he goes side by side with Alexander Gorshkovazov, the second of the Ukraine springboard divers. Good entry. Got it round very nicely indeed. 3.4 the tariff, so should see a big score here.
Gorshkovazov really gets that jump. Nice distance. That's the triple at board level. Very good effort there. Just a little movement with the feet.
Yes, 81.60. Another diver into the 80s. Really good start. Abbas Abdul Rahman of Kuwait, inward 2.5 somersaults for the Kuwaiti diver. Just a little short on that, unfortunately.
Yeah, the difference on this is that he just doesn't have the power on the legs. Just to work more on the jumping, maybe some squats, build up the muscles in the legs. He'll have the ability to push that ball down further.
49.50. Yes, it's going to be a tough one for Abdul Rahman today to get through. Now, Ilya Zakharov, the Olympic champion, missed quite a bit in the synchro competition, and he's missed again here. And, oh, looks could kill, eh?
Certainly, I think he heard you. I was just going to say we've had 3 dives so far at 80 points, and this could be the 4th. But then you mentioned the miss, and that's exactly what happened.
Come on, you can't pin that on me. 40.80, a wry smile from Zakharov. And already the Olympic champion in a bit of bother. Francois Imbaud-Dulac. Canada inward 2.5 somersaults. Solid start, but the problem for Canada, how do you replace Alex Despatie?
No, he's a one-off. They'll just have to invent a new person. This could be it. What a jump. Slight problem with the pike. Head up.
63 marks. Again, it's okay, but it means you're going to be fighting if you're going to be around that score for a top 18. Second of the Norwegians, Espen Bergslien. Feet very close then to the board.
Actually, yeah, at the beginning I was thinking very good balance and you're jumping high, but then he didn't seem to move back at all. From this angle though, I think he knows that sometimes he's close, and he had that off angle. The judges have picked it up. They've marked him down for twisting slightly off to the side there.
Stefanos Paparounis dived with Fafalis in the synchro competition, and Paparounis individually looked pretty good. I think now that he can just concentrate on his own game, as it were, we'll see the best from Stefanos. Certainly a top 18 contender. He leaned into that one off the board, didn't he? And that caused a few problems.
He corrects himself well, though, coming around, spots the board, then sees it on the second time. He places his feet at the board, that was good, but then bends his body to get the dive around.
Well, 67.50. Snow feels that is the par score to get through. Jorge Luis Popó. Unfortunately, a miss for the Cuban in round one.
Yeah, it's the first of the hurdle steps that have landed right back from the end of the board. Then he leans forward. Well, he hasn't gone up over the 5 meters, so he hasn't got the height. And also, it's spinning very, very slow.
Yes, 50, not a good start. First look at Frandiel Gomez of the Dominican Republic. Absolutely catapulted forwards and not upwards off the board on that twister.
Yeah, this is what happens when you can't swing your arms through very fast. If your arms are still moving up and your body's moving forward, then that catapult action doesn't go up, it goes towards the other end of the pool.
40.50. A lot of pressure already building. Michele Benedetti to get things underway for Italy. When he gets it right, he is a very good springboard diver. Unfortunately for Michele, tends to miss 1 or 2 in the 6 rounds. That causes him an issue.
2 years ago, I think he missed everything, became 26.
And not a strong start.
Similar. I'll be down in the 40s too. Well, the hips move back, his feet don't spin up behind him. He's just finished just about on the water. Try to scoop underneath the water, didn't work.
Yep, sub 50, he knows he's in trouble already. 5 rounds to recover the situation as Christian Ibsen comes out to the board. Troy Dumay's partner in the Olympic Games, and only 1 American diver through to what is a very strong area of competition for them. Not Dumay's partner anymore, Chris.
No, in the camp they're saying that they're not partnering anymore. And Dumay's not in this competition at the moment because he didn't do well in their trials.
Yeah, America renowned for their brutal trials system. Even if you are a world or Olympic champion, if you miss out at the American trials, you're out. Simple as that. Karalyo then for Belarus, dived along with Vadim Kaptur. Kaptur in the synchro competition, and a little bit surprised to not see Kaptur in this draw.
Oh, a real problem here. Holds onto the pipe too long, misses the spot altogether, reaches for the wrong part of the water and flies over.
Dear me, he's seen a lot of scores sub 50, including the Olympic champion Ilya Zakharov. Next out then, Vinko the Viking from Sweden. Radzik to get his competition underway. And that travel back from the board makes it difficult to control, but that's not a bad entry from that.
It's a real shame. Again, it's a balance thing. There's no problem with the wind. We saw the wind pick up yesterday, and it does affect the divers probably more on the platform than the springboard. But perfect conditions for a prelim.
Yep, solid start, 63. Yona Knight Wisdom diving for Jamaica. And just a bit of a miss for him, but inspired, Chris, by Leeds Diving Club coming into his school.
Yeah, I've actually seen him diving for 8 years. He was picked out in a talent ID in Leeds 8 years ago. He was a former gymnast, and he's been training up there ever since and diving in the British Championships. But his father is Jamaican, and that's why he's competing here for Jamaica.
He's going to need to tighten up a little bit, Yona, if he's going to get through in the top 18. Grant Nell then for Australia. Toes over the end, but he's still got a phenomenal leap from the springboard and a beautiful entry as well. Good start from Grant.
Yeah, 3.4. Actually saying he is over the end, but he still jumps up in the air. We've had 4 divers so far with 80 points. Will he get close to that?
Yes,
nearly.
He does, yeah, 78.2. Good start, Australia, with having a very quiet World Championships at the moment. So they are pinning some hopes here on Grant Nell to get through at least to the semi-final stage. And the man that will finish off each round, Hernandez of Cuba. Very slow spin, but he got it round nicely, got the rip entry.
Yeah, the technique's there. Again, needs to work on the strength. The way diving's going on 3 metre, you need to be doing even more difficult dives, so you have to start working on getting the height. But we zoomed through this, 30 minutes for the first round.
Good effort, and a good effort from Hernandez. Well, the divers not hanging about in this prelim phase. They do like to get on with it. That's why the round that we've just seen, first round, took a little under 30 minutes to get 46 divers through. And once again, Szeszutek of Poland starts things off. Good opener from him. All toes over. And that was trouble for Andrzej right from the start.
Well, he was screaming all the way around. Oh, I need to manage this. Look at that. Left foot right over. The right toe was over as well. He's pulling in as best as he can, but he finished underneath the 3 metre board. Hard to get out of that.
And that's going to hurt. 58.90. Mid to high 60s. You're going to have to be consistent across all 6 rounds. Otherwise, a top 18 place will be out of your reach. Blaha, same dive. Much better result, and Christian Blaha very solid through the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, 73 on his inward, and should go something like the same score, 0.1 even higher than his first dive. But look at that, in control. The judges will like that.
And he's definitely tweaked his dive list, Chris, because he's up in the 3s across the board now. No 2.9s or 2.8s in there.
And in fact, he's including the inward 3.5 at 3.4.
Well, Jack Law has an unbelievable tariff across his 6 rounds, finishes on a 3.8. And if he can keep diving like this, Chris, then he'll move into that category of potential medalists.
Well, he's just going up and up and up. Now he's dropping, and he kicks out something like 3/4 of a metre above the 3 metre. We would have seen him in the finals at the Olympics, but his legs buckled, and that's why he wasn't there. But incredibly talented.
Rinaldi. Not a good start from the Italian in round 1. That'll settle the nerves, though. Good diving in round 2.
Yeah, good effort. He's a bit splashy going through the water, because as he comes out, he's starting to grab his hands, and it looks more like he just pats. And when in fact, he's grabbed the wrong part of his hand, grabbed his wrist.
65.10, yeah, just indicating to the coach that's exactly what happened. Being watched by Klaus DiBiase, one of the legends of Italian diving today. Ui for Malaysia, twister. Got that round somehow. There was a touch of panic midway through that dive.
Yeah, as he's landing on the board, he's out of timing, but he still waits. Here, I can see the ball coming up against him. Another great jump. That was jumping as high as Jack Law.
74.25. Very solid score from Ui. Now Ilas needs to repair the situation, down in 32nd for the Mexican. Oh dear, this is not going well. He and Castillo are definitely top 18 divers.
Yeah, the problem is you can have as much degree of difficulty that they have, but you've still got to go in vertical. He pulled his knees up in front of him and didn't get the dive spinning.
Not sharp at all. Correct to Bruin. 10 places off the semi-final at the moment for the Dutchman. It's fine. Good entry.
Yeah, they're both spread up. Went 60 points on his first dive. That was his back 2.5. Should be the high 60s. So he's really about 7 points down. Boy, what an ugly tuck there on the replay.
Well, that's the issue. He has, isn't it, with the pike? Unfortunately, the lower legs, just the shape that Yorick is. Fortunately, side on judges don't get to see too much of that. Alvarez then likes his twisters, open around.
Well comfortable. And that was a low jump into the dive.
Not good enough at the moment from Alvarez of Dominican Republic. Once again, Kim Aranzon Contreras to the same dive. The others will hope to follow somewhere close to Kim. That was a good effort from the Korean.
Kim spinning very, very fast. Even on the replay, it's going to be fast. Yeah. It's a great pike there. Maybe out a fraction too early. He's showing off his spin then.
Yeah, 68.20, going very well for Kim Yong-nam. Well, we'll take a break. More action to come.
Fire in the water as the hottest swimmers of the year explode into action in the Gold Rush in Barcelona. It's the week of the wet set, and British Eurosport is poolside every morning and every night with expert insight from two of the greats, Peter van den Hogenband and Alan Bernard. The FINA Swimming World Championships, live from Barcelona, Sunday morning at 9 and Sunday afternoon at 5 on British Eurosport.
Back, dear. Very, very splashy entry. And the two Venezuelan divers side by side in the draw. Side by side in terms of their results. Contreras going along pretty unsteadily at the moment, along with Lorenzo. Now Kuznetsov in 12th position. What's his Sunday best for the first round? Just missed his entry. Yeah, that's more like the Yevgeny that we know.
Probably another 80-pointer coming up here. This is the dive of the future, the back 3.5, second somersault, third. Good kick out at the board. Little knee save going through the water, that's good. Oh, I didn't quite get that 80 points.
Still can't get there. 78.75. Clasher into the 80s on the first round. Got a twister for us in the second round. Talking about the delivering on the 3 metre. Is this going to be his year? Oh, Chris, he really stamped that board, didn't he? Just about got it down.
Yeah, and he shouldn't have done that. He should have waited a bit longer, the arms dropping too early, and then pulling back. Because of that, the feet are just slightly loose. He could have gone up higher on that dive, then he would have controlled the entry.
So mid-70s for Ilya to go with his 80 in the first round. Jami for Indonesia. I didn't think he was going to get out of that one, but he did. What an out.
The magician. He's going around at a leisurely pace. It's a 3.5. He finishes about 1 metre off the water, and he still goes in straight.
Lines it up as he touches the water. Portly figure of Jami, really enjoying himself in this competition. A solid start. Hechong, 2008 Olympic gold medalist, 2-time world champion on the 3-metre springboard. That's good, but I think Hechong is going to do well to get that 3rd medal. He wants to match Phil Boggs of the USA, 73, 75 and 78. Diver that you'll know well, Chris.
Yeah, I came up against Phil many times, and including the World Cup.
Hechong, to match him, he's going to have to do some serious business over the next 2 days in this competition. I know why you mentioned the World Cup now. You scalped him there, didn't you?
I think it was the only time.
Garcia for Spain, diving with an illustrious partner today in Javi Garcia. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be very difficult for Nicholas today.
Yeah, he's not on form enough to make the top 18. Had 2.7 degree of difficulty, which was the lowest in the competition on the round 1, and it's already gone this competition for him.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to recover from there. Cho Kwon-hun of Korea. Oh, wow, got that one down, and nice entry.
That's right, he needs a good score though, because he's down already 10 points, 57 on the first round. Although he's spinning fast, he's away from the diving board, and the judges will cut down some points because of that.
just under the 70 mark.
Yeah, it's a shame that he wasn't closer. That would have been in the 8.5s.
Chris Mears. Twister from him. And Chris and Jack from Great Britain, genuine opportunity here to go through to the semis, and both of them looking sharp enough to make the final.
Yeah, definitely. A little out of timing, but once in the air, good dive, spots well. Oh, he missed his hands on the end. That's why the splash was there. But still 76 points 50. He'll take that.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine for Mears. Now, Mexico in a bit of trouble here. Ilas not going well, but Castillo right up the top. Now, can he keep it going so that Mexico do have representation in the next round? Started with a twister at 3.4, another 3.4 dive here. Because they have a very high tariff program. And, ooh, just fell out of that one a little short.
Yeah, it wasn't as sharp as the first dive. He's scored the highest in round 1. In with 3.5. Good. Just here. Yeah, a bit sloppy coming out.
Mexico would have wanted both Castillo and Ilas in the next round. And probably into the final as well, but that's going to be tricky to get both of them through. Halsding. Just another day at the office, isn't it, for Halsding? He dives so much across the championships in all of the disciplines.
He did. No problem going forward here. In fact, he's maybe a little close to the ball, just coming around. Well, finished very high, floats around 77.
Yep, 77.50. Thumbs up for Patrick. Riley McCormick needs an improvement in the last round. Well, legs nearly buckled on that one, but just about got it back together to get some height off the springboard.
Out of timing. You can tell everything. If the body isn't straight, landing on the end of the ball, and the arms aren't up, you know that somehow they're feeling off balance.
It's okay, but it's going to be a scrap for Riley. Chu Yue of Malaysia. Twister from him in the second round. It's beautifully done, and Chris, I think what we're seeing at this World Championships is that the Malaysian diving program has come of age.
Yes, it's influenced by the Chinese diving team. All the movements are exactly the same. Even the way they punch for the water.
Better dive in the second round for Chu. Stefan Feck, halfway point of the second round. And both he and Halsding at the moment looking good for a top 18.
Yeah, this will be in the 70 points. He's just under that on the first round. Good timing, up high. He's finally getting into the pipe. Good arm position coming out before locking out for the entry.
74.40. I like the first round dive of this young man, but not quite good enough to get himself into the top 18. So a little bit of work still required from Shi. Got himself onto the corner of the board there, which threw him off to the right as he's looking at the pool.
It's quite tough following with the same dive after Feck's really good 3.5. Yeah, they're on the corner of the board, also slightly forward. Will be in the 60s. That is 10 points less than German diver.
Certainly keeps his challenge alive. Twister now from Chanturia of Georgia. Helps to put that twist in the second part of the dive. It just looked a little heavy coming into the water.
Yeah, it was. Here also, when he's flicking out, there's not much stretch. See the feet flat going into the twist, and that's why the twist is slow. If he was tighter with his body, he was snapped out into the twist quicker.
Solid mid-50, that's not going to be good enough today. Similar dive, but a little more complex for another 0.4 of DD. And Valheim, I tell you what, this is the sharpest we've seen him on Eurosport over the last few weeks.
Yeah, and at the moment he's on target to make that top 18. He went 68, which is above my prediction on the first round, and he should be in the 70s, and he is.
Yeah,
74.
that's excellent. Well done, Espen Valheim, Norway, going along nicely. Next up, the dive that we saw from both Halsding and McCormick. See that's performed by Morales of Colombia. And kept that pike together very nicely indeed. Just didn't line it up particularly well.
One of the tricks he isn't doing, coming around on the triple somersault, is holding his stomach tight. So when he comes out of the pike, he continues to arch his body, and that just creates the splash.
65 though is fine, Cesar Castro. This man can get some height off a springboard. But not quite on that occasion. That's not his best. And this is the problem that you get with Castro. The inconsistency can hurt him.
Yeah, just some small things going wrong. On the replay, we'll see that his arms were slightly bent in the hurdle step. And the judges will pick this up. They're a very experienced group of judges. In fact, we have 2 judging panels because it's such a long competition. Panel A, panel B.
65, we'll get the change of panel at the halfway stage. Chinkai, there's only one other man that's built like Chinkai in this competition. That's Jack Law of Great Britain. Muscles on muscles. And when you're in that sort of shape, that's the kind of dive you can do. But if we're looking at it as objectively as we can, then he won't be delighted with this dive, and neither will the Chinese coaches.
Yeah, the chin's down slightly. I think he's trying too hard. It put him off just getting 67 points in the first round.
There we go, that's better. That's more like it for Chinkai. 81.60 for his twister in round 2. A miss from Sakai in the first round. And gets it down in the second round.
Again, you've got to have everything right. And you see that twist going through the water, they're going to mark him down because of it. Oh, couldn't pick it up.
No,
still got an 8, 7.5.
Well, that will help the cause. Javier Lana Garcia. Javi looking very solid. We fully expect him to qualify through to the semi-finals, and he's got a pretty good chance of making the final in this form.
Spinning fast. There's the punch for the water. About 5 degrees short of vertical.
Didn't compete in the European Championships. Just getting himself ready for this one. Kovasov, second place at the start from the Ukraine diver. Real aggression on that one, but just got shot forward off the board.
Yeah, just a bit jerky here, a little out of timing. He knows it as well. I talk about the diving ball flying up and down. If you watch the board as we progress through all these different rounds, if the board settles down quickly, you'll notice the divers go higher in the air.
60s for Kovasov. Abdulrahman. And you saw he landed back from the end of the board and it went bang like concrete. Very difficult for him to get the height he needed.
Yeah, he's trying to get strength involved in here, and it's more about timing. So no matter how... Oh, and he missed his hands. Completely crossed over on the end. That's the lowest score so far, 31.
Experience for Abbas. Tough experience so far, and it's been a tough experience for this man. 44th position for the Olympic champion. Needs a big dive. And Zakharov has missed again. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, arched completely over. Not used to being back so far. Kick, pull, didn't need it, and even forgot the knee save on the end.
47.25. It's great to win a gold medal at an Olympic Games. It's tough to then maintain your form when everybody wants a piece of you at these events, and Zakharov falling foul of that at the moment. In Bordelac, Bergslian and Paparounis, same dive. Very tidy diver, isn't he, in Bordelac? And if he can put it together, then this should be no problem for him to qualify top 18.
Yeah, very good effort here. I think the second and third part of the dive, the pike was very good. Just a little untidy at the beginning. Simple though.
74. Yeah, that's comfortable, isn't it? Can Bergslian match him? 20th at the moment. Very tentative on that hurdle step and cut it right off.
And the entry changes directions as well. He's struggling here. He knows he's finishing low to the water. The line-up, his arms weren't by the side of his ears.
52.70, that's going to hurt. One miss and I think you're gone in this competition. 45 other divers around you, very tough. Paparounis then, same dive, the Greek international. And a similar problem to Abdul Rahman, but what Paparounis has is the experience to know how to adjust.
He feels himself going forward and he's already thinking about how shall I come out. Does the right thing. Didn't panic too much.
On to Stefanos into the 70s. We'll take a break there. To the action here in Barcelona, and unfortunately a miss. We are seeing some real pressure getting put on the 46 contestants in this prelim phase, and the misses are starting to rack up.
And what's happening is that as the standard has gone up in the men's 3 metre, all the divers are trying difficult dives, but some just aren't up to it or not ready yet. It might be easy to do easier dives just to get through to the semi-final.
Michele Benedetti, that is a far better effort than his first round.
That's right.
Yep, 69.75, so moving in the right direction, but Michele's got some work to do. Christian Ibsen falling out with synchro partner Troy Dumais, means that he's now diving individually. Dumais dived with Hickson in the synchro. And a little wash over there from Ibsen, but the height, the tightness of the pike, all of that will be considered by the judges positively.
That's a real shame he didn't spot the water, because he's up high, board level finish, just reached the wrong part of the water and couldn't stop those legs kicking over.
57.35. Evgeny Karalyuk. And I'm afraid the Belarus diver is having a poor start to this prelim competition.
And he's travelling right forward. In fact, the camera on the side had to move to follow him. He's going so far out.
58.90. It isn't where you need to be in terms of getting through in this top 18. Paradzik, though, did himself a few favours. The Swede with a solid enough start, looking very shaky up there on the board.
The wind's picking up now.
Nervous energy, I think we'll call it, because that was a lively dive.
Yeah, ability there. I think many of these divers have been former gymnasts or acrobats. Fast spin, untidy pike though. Misses his hands on the entry.
58.90. What he wanted, really. Making out Yona like wisdom. The Yorkshireman diving for Jamaica. And sometimes tough to get those long legs round on the spinning dives, but that was solid enough.
We were talking earlier about the body shapes. On 3 metre, it doesn't really matter too much, but you are slightly at disadvantage if you do have legs that are a mile long.
He's a tall boy, Yona. He said he's going to have to dive well to get into this top 18. Not quite happening for him yet. Solid start from Grant Nell. Very different height and body shape for Grant. It's an easier in the twisting phases of the dive. Sorry, the spinning phases of the dive. Twisting not so much of a problem. So good stuff from Grant.
Back 2.5 pike. Just a little bent knees there, but comes out a fraction early, tries to arch it around. Did a great dive in the first round, nearly 80 points, but over there, 66.
Well, that's solid enough. I think that should keep Grant comfortably inside the top 18. Should be inside the top 10 with that score. And Hernandez to finish for Cuba. 2 drifts to the side of the board. He's done well to make that dive count.
Yeah, really well. I thought he was going to go flat on his back. Terrible takeoff, right on the edge there. Bends his legs, but is looking all the time, seeing where he's going, and somehow finds the water. Good effort. He was in 13th place. He didn't need to miss a dive.
64.50 dumps him down to 20th position. It's going to take another couple of rounds to really sort out these marks around the 18th. Castillo maintains his top spot just ahead of Kwasha, Chong, and then Jack Law and Chin Kai. That should top 5. Blaha doing very well for Austria. Kuznetsov not quite on his game at the moment. Not the only Russian that you can say that about. Both Germans inside the top 18. Feck and Halsting. Paparunas also comfortable. Spain will be hoping that Javier Lana can maintain his form. And at the moment, Tommaso Rinaldi is in that 18th spot along with Cesar Castro of Brazil. So Italy and Brazil on the bubble. And we keep going down and keep going down. We lost some big names in the women's platform competition yesterday at the prelims and then semi-final stage. And we could lose the Olympic champion. Look at that. Ilya Zakharov, one of the best divers in the world off the springboard, in 45th. Well, we have drama developing here in this prelim competition. They are absolutely flying through the dives. 2 rounds down already inside the hour. As we continue, Zakharov in trouble, but Chris Snow, he should be able to get himself out of trouble with the dive list that he has.
Well, we've seen it before, haven't we? Up in the Olympics last year in London. On the 10-metre, we had the winner, came 18th, and Tom Daly in the semi-final was 15th, I believe, and then ended up with a bronze medal. So David Badai can do it, then maybe Zakharov can do it.
Yeah, fair point. On to Shushatek of Poland to get things underway in round 3. Some of the big names are going to have to find some big dives into the 80s and hope that those around are missing as well. Shushatek will consider this a miss.
Yeah, back too far, dropping. What happens is the rotation just dies with a last triple somersault if you go back too far.
If you've just joined us, after 2 rounds of diving, the Olympic champion Ilya Zakharov is in 45th position out of 46. Only the top 18 will advance. Blaha with a really tidy start for Austria. His 3rd round dive, same as we've just seen from Shushatek. And keeping it nice and tight is Konstantin.
Yeah, he did finish low to the water, but he shot out of it. Good jump. Just a little slow here, squeezing as hard as he can just to try and increase the rotation. Good effort there for a low finish.
Yeah, 66.30 is absolutely fine, as long as he doesn't drop down below that. Jack Law, we have seen him fly so far from the board. Can he do it again in round 3? Same dive as we've just seen from Poland and Austria. A phenomenal athlete, Jack Law. Tom Daly shouting his appreciation from the stands.
Boy, was that fast. Incredible. That is really fast. In with 3.5. Just back from the board. I think eventually we'll see that pike from him.
73.10, Jack Law stamping his mark on this prelim phase. He's enjoying this. Tommaso Rinaldi sharing 18th position with Castro of Brazil. Oh, and a miss from him. You can't afford it in this sort of company.
Yeah, he just held his back then as he was coming up. And you do see him come out early, then he arches his back, try to get around. I wonder if he felt that in his lower back.
60 marks for Tommaso. That is below the sort of scoring that you need. Wee has been good. 13th place at the moment for the Malaysian. Toes over the end, and he really had to work very hard then when he was in that tuck position.
That's actually quite a dangerous takeoff. He was back on the board with his heels. The weight was on his heels. And if he'd just pulled with his shoulders, he would have been very close to the board.
So he came out at board level. It could have been nasty, but 52 marks, even nastier for Hui. Ilas, his compatriot, Castillo leads, but Ilas is a top 18 diver. He's getting there, Chris. He's gradually getting there. He's got 3.9, 3.5, 3.8 to finish, so he can still do it.
Yeah, he missed the first two dives. This is much better. High, very sharp. Just forgot to put that little save on the water to stop the feet kicking over. And close to 70 points, so he's getting better each time he dives.
66 marks. A lot of divers using that little right foot back push off on the back dives. We'll keep an eye on that. Twister though for Jorik de Bruin, so completely different direction.
It's a reverse twist, and it's 3.5 twists included.
Nicely done from the Dutchman.
Yeah, very good effort. I just thought his feet were creeping over the end. Well, just slightly, but this is a good twist. You notice there's no wobble at all because the head was in the right position.
Oh, wow. 86.70. Well done to Bruin. He's put himself back in the mix.
The more you share experiences, the greater they become.
Live the World Swimming Championships with EDF, proud partner of swimming.
Welcome back. Alvarez has dived. Time for Kim. Oh, unlucky. Well, he does spin so fast, but even that too much for him.
Back too far on the end of the diving board. So it just killed his rotation then. You notice as he comes around for the double twist, he's hit.
2.5 De Bruin with the best score of the competition so far. 86.70 in the last round. Put himself right up the top. Long, rangy diver, Jesus Liranzo of Venezuela. And you could see that in this dive, but unfortunately couldn't quite finish it.
The out was completely wrong. He lifts his arms away from his legs and reaches back.
54 marks. Certainly give Knight Wisdom of Jamaica a run for his money in the long legs competition. Contreras needs a good dive. Goes forward, then back. Big flutter with the feet. Too much for the judges to work with here on this one.
Yeah, we call that a seesaw dive in the hurdle step. Well, it's a 3.4, and it is a difficult dive, but the knack is to make it look easy, make everything flow from one movement to the other.
61 marks, a grimace from Kuznetsov. He will do the same dive as Klasher. They do this on a couple of rounds. Klasher will follow him. And Yevgeny not at his sharpest, and neither is his partner Zakharov, and no wonder the Russian coaches are looking worried.
This is a very good takeoff. He keeps going up, but the kick out is just slightly missed. The feet needed to go up a fraction more and then pull the dive around.
Into the 200s though, Kuznetsov will qualify comfortably if he keeps going along this level. Glasher showing us what he can do on the 3-metre springboard and looking good so far. Third round dive for him, same as we've just seen from Kuznetsov. Disappears on that one. Not the best body position, but overall very good dive.
Yeah, it wasn't as good a takeoff, as Kuznetsov, but it was a better kick out on the accuracy. It's a shame about the feet.
85-0 though, still very good, and a smile from Ilya confirms that he's feeling good out there at the moment. Janjami, 30th position, good second round though, on the Indonesian diver. Can he keep that form going? No, I'm afraid, a miss in the third round.
He sort of got it, you know, he's got the right movements, just needs to be more powerful and work slightly more on the gym so that everything reacts faster. Legs just coming up a bit slow.
Chong, third position for the man chasing that joint record-breaking 3 gold medals in this competition of the World Championships.
He got a 10 on this in the final 2 years ago.
Absolutely beautiful.
Oh, well, he went about 97, I think. I can't remember the exact score. About 97, he got 110 on this. The rest were 9s. 2 years ago, where he won this competition.
Oh, nearly.
So
nearly.
he can do even better. That's 89 points.
Yorick de Bruin's score has been eclipsed now by Hu Chong. Garcia really struggling. That was a better pike from him this time around. He can tend to bend his knees far too much in that position.
Now, because he landed on the corner of the board, he came off twisted, and you notice as he goes through the water, he twists as well. And it's going to be marked down, way down for that.
51 marks. Cho next for Korea. Problem for his compatriot Kim in this round. Flutter of the feet, but overall good dive.
Yeah, he had a great 3.5 in the previous round, but he missed his first twister. Same problem there. This is the double twist. On the single twist as well, he lost his feet. Well, they mark him down just slightly.
66.30 though, that is okay for Cho. Throws him temporarily into the top 10. Chris Mears, comfortable at the moment, along with Jack Law of Great Britain. Right on the corner, and that's as big a miss as I'm afraid you will see in this competition. And Chris Mears may just have blown it.
Yeah, he lands right on the corner. He's travelling forward. That's more of the problem than landing on the corner. And kicks his feet down at the water. He'll only get some halves and 2s at the very most. So he was in 10th place. He's now going to be right at the back of the pack.
Dear me, 15.75. And a very disappointed Chris Mears looks away from the board. Yahil Castillo, brilliant so far. Oh, no, no, no. Instant deductions. He can restart.
Yeah, what's happened there, he's going to do a 4.5. It's his most difficult dive, except for the last one at the end. It's 3.8. He wasn't going to land right on the end of the diving board. He knew he wouldn't make the 4.5, so it was worth him stopping. It's better to have a second attempt, lose 2 points, but still try to get the dive around.
Well, there is an elite diver right in the zone. Fantastic to be able to stop himself like that and then produce this dive.
Yeah, he did exactly what he should have done. It was good that he stopped. He got 81, well, he got 85 points in the first round, 71 in the second, and it's only a semi-final.
Oh, amazing stuff. There you go. Got the penalty points, took his medicine, as they say in golf. 68.40. Great score still. Housding, twister.
In trouble.
Oh, he's way back from the board, and again Patrick Housding knows what to do to get a score. That was never going right, but he still made it look like a dive.
Yeah, the ball comes up against his feet and the hurdle is flying around. He's struggling all the way. This is a triple twisting 2.5, 3.9 degree of difficulty. Again, it's the semi-final. He can squeeze 70 points out of a bad dive. It doesn't really matter.
It's all happening, isn't it, in this prelim competition? Top 18 through to the semi. That's what Chris is referring to, diving towards that semi place. And we've got some real drama at the moment. McCormick And the Canadian is struggling, I'm afraid.
Yeah, easy dive. Went back down to the 3.0s after seeing a 3.9. Just a little untidy there, reaching back. Splashy water being thrown up.
61.50. It'll be Chu Yue next. Good dive in the last round from the Malaysian. Oh, and a strange out, but gets it down nicely.
Yeah, we'll watch as he comes around on the triple. He grabs his hands in front of his chest. Swings through a little bit slow. First somersault, second somersault, third. Grabs now in front of his face and chest and then punches the water.
Just remembered that punch, that saved him. Little time for the marks to come through to the competitors.
Yeah, we have 7 judges. They have electronic hand controls.
There we go, they've worked, and they've worked well. 69.75. Definitely take that score. Stefan Feck housed him with a shaky dive, but the tariff protected him. That's twisting for Feck. Still a big dive, and he is a solid diver, Stefan Feck, and that is a good finish.
Yeah, strong jump. He waits as long as he can, reaches up, does the double twist. The hand just gets caught here by the side of him, and then lines up in time.
Will maintain his position in the top 18. 76.50. We're all waiting for Zakharov to come out, aren't we, in all honesty, in round 3. See if the Olympic champion can recover the situation. 45th position at the moment, Zakharov.
He's got only 88 points on 2 dives.
Oh, beautiful. That's really good from Xi. Well, I do hope he goes through top 18, Chris, because there's a lot we like about this diver.
Yeah, he's really good in the air and off the board, and then he just misses his entries. That's why he's just been getting 65 points instead of 75 points a dive.
There you go, outside the 60s. Real frustration there for the young man from Hong Kong. Chanturia, 35th position, back 2.5 for the Georgian diver. And still, unfortunately for him, just a little too messy to be getting the marks he needs.
Yeah, a slight drift back here. Takes a while to get into the pike. These could be locked out a fraction more. Goes through vertical, but the drift away keeps him down under 60 points.
So already outside that top 18 with just under half the field still to come. Espen Valheim, brilliant dive in the last round. That's put him up into the top 18. And the Norwegian unfortunately undoes the good work of round 2 with his round 3 dive.
The landing here was fine until his arms come through slowly, and now he's drifting away, finishing below the board, and then the dive keeps moving over because of that.
Oh dear, 49.50. What a shame for the Norwegian.
He's still got a chance. The first 2 dives were good.
Colombia followed by Brazil. Both divers doing the same dive. Very snappy in the air, wasn't it? Lovely watching him go through the movements.
Yeah, it should be high 60s or maybe into the 70 points, 3.4. Little wobble there, but look how high he was. Gets a good side to the water. Oh, they marked him down. I think I saw a small wobble on a twist going through the water. The lowest score was a 6 there.
Clearly the diving judges picked up on that. Castro then, still in that 18th place. Oh, he was in trouble there on the end of the board, but he's got it round with brute force.
Yeah, he needs to average somewhere around 67 points. He's in 18th place. Big wobble there because of the head position. But he's okay.
That'll help. Yeah, that'll help. 76.50. Chin Kai, 2007 world champion on this particular board. And I think maybe a stronger chance than He Chong to get gold for China.
Missed his takeoff and missed his entry.
And you saw the frustration under the water then, shaking his arm as he surfaced.
Well, it's going wrong here. It doesn't feel good. A little slower than normal. And he's knowing he's going to have to reach back. And just is a little lower than normal. So you see that splash being thrown up.
73.50 for Chin. Chong. Last round dive, but not that shot. Synchro. Slightly unusual look to that pike from Sho Sakai, but a lot better than his last round dive.
Because he's spinning so fast, he can float the last half somersault, drop his arms down, see the water, then grab his hands.
69.75 as Javier Lana comes back to the board. Double banker for him in Barcelona. Home crowd, plus a decent name and reputation in the sport.
Again, I think he's going to be sharper if he gets through to the semi-finals. His feet won't move around so much. There's the out position, one arm over the top of the head, the other arm in front of the chest.
76.50. Alexander Ushkov's off. Next to dive then for Ukraine. Oh, really had to reach back on that one. Just about got there.
Swinging through, just a little slow. Good pike position. Oh, yeah, has to bend that back to get it around.
So 63 marks, that's okay. That's Abdul Rahman, 46th position at the moment. One behind the Olympic champion, actually. We need him to hit a couple of finishes just to kind of settle things down. As you said, Chris, he's just trying too hhard.
Yeah,
that's,
I don't
not
think
good
he's
for springboard, is it?
Yeah, and he hasn't seen the board at the right time. Feet aren't placed at the board. He went over. That's going to hurt him.
Yeah, can't get into the 50s at the moment. Now then, this is it. This is the big dive for this round. Zakharov. Oh, well, he's just made that, but that was laboured. But, Chris, if he'd missed that one, then he may have been going out of this competition, but that should help him.
It will help him. It's still a miss. He's going forward away from the board. He's done the right thing. Waited for the tuck to come around before kicking out. That he needed that 84 is desperately low on those points. Only 172 after the third round.
Well, in the same way that a miss can hurt you, a good dive can also race you up the leaderboard, and that's what's happened. Zakharov closer to the top 18 now. In Bourdelac then for Canada. Very nice couple of rounds up to this point. Well, unfortunately a miss for him in round 3. Canadian coaches and fans can't believe it.
And I don't think he can believe it either. This is going really well. It's up high, pike's good. And then the feet just down. They don't point up towards the board.
40.5. Sorts of drama unfolding in this prelim competition. Mr. Bergslian hasn't done much wrong at all, but still can't climb higher than 33rd at the moment. Yeah, that's absolutely fine for him.
Yeah, much better. It's a good job finishing or diving behind the Canadian, because this is a much better technical dive. Comes out at the right time. Maybe just could reach back a fraction more on the end. Well, they hammered him again. They're really going after these entries. If you're not spotting on your entries, the scores are right down.
At least it's consistent. The divers know exactly what's required of them. Karunas, definitely capable of making the final. I'm afraid that was not great off the springboard, but he's put down a really superb finish.
They're not particularly powerful, but he's moving fast. Oh, that's a perfect out for the twist, and that's why he got the vertical entry.
Lovely stuff from Stefanos, and a good score as well. 79.90. We'll take a break. Welcome back. Very interesting prelim competition because Zakharov, the Olympic champion, is in trouble. He's going to have a lot of work to do in the back half of this competition, but a few other divers have missed as well. Pupo, I'm afraid, amongst them, 16.50. Chris Mears with a complete miss at 15 points. Can Chris recover from that, Chris Snowd?
The way that I'm seeing the divers being inconsistent, possibly, but it was such a low score, just getting halves and twos. He does really need a miracle.
Fandil Gomez being made to wait. Dominican Republic athlete follows on for football. We've had a couple of issues with the electronic score pads.
The whistle's gone. We're going to start the contest now.
With a big miss with the last dive, and Gomez has had a miss himself, which means down 43 at the moment. That's fine.
Yeah, what a jump. Very, very high. He's got the timing right with the swing, the press of the board, and it's taken him up 5 meters level. And also he's got the out correct. The feet lay at the diving board before reaching back. Good dive.
Michele Benedetti. Support from the Italian dive team poolside. Back 2.5 for him. 31st position, not out of it yet. That will certainly help. He's got the quality required to make it through to the next round. Needs the consistency now.
I like this even better. It was just quicker into the pike. Same height as diver from the Dominican Republic. So 64 before, that's gone higher, 70.50.
Gradually getting better. Christian Ibsen. 3.5, 24th position after a relative miss in the last round. Just about got that round. Didn't get the height he wanted from the springboard, but span quickly.
That's right. Now, as long as he gets into the 70 points on the last couple of dives, he'll move up from that 24th position. The moving to the side of the board won't be spotted by the judges. He's getting close to that 70 points.
It's okay, but 200 plus at this stage to be in the top 18. Coralio let Vadim Kapto down in the synchro competition. Missed quite a few dives at important times. And another miss from him in round 3.
Yeah, the only part of the miss is caused by the reach back. Dive here is fine, good pike position. He's out at the right time, but he doesn't get the little finger back to catch the water, so he doesn't make that hole for his body to go through.
Pratic. Swede diving well, but can't get into that 18 at the moment.
He's got some big dives. This is 3.4.
Oh, no, that is a big miss. So we've seen quite a few of those in this third round.
That's a real shame. He moves well, all the right actions, but there's just no power there. The first part, the legs were bent in the pike. Almost looked like he needed another 2 meters, so he needs a 5-meter springboard for that dive.
The Night Wisdom of Jamaica, very popular diver. A lot of the other divers shouting at his name as he came to the board. Twister for him. That is easily his best dive of the competition, and as so often is the case, the taller divers very good in that twisting phase. Oh, he twisted in the jump though.
What an effort. I didn't pick that up on the first bit. That's because he still kept his arms in the air. Yeah, he has the whole British contingent supporting them because he trained in Britain.
63 marks. Much better for Jonna. Grant Nell, 9th position. No problems so far. I'm not trying to tempt fate, I can promise you, but we've had an exciting round. that's not so good from the Aussie, I'm afraid.
Yeah, big jump into the hurdle step, but from there on he wasn't comfortable. Just legs coming up slightly slow. He's squeezing in tight to try and increase the rotation and forgets to kick out.
49 marks. Wow, that is going to be very painful. Not quite outside the 18, but if that's his one miss, he'll take it. And on we go into round 4. The dives start to get bigger and bigger. The big names start to head into 3.5, 3.8, 3.9 territory. We're going to see a lot of big diving in these final 3 rounds. Too much of a stamp on the end of the board there from Hernandez.
Yeah, very loose body as he reaches his arms back. His whole body buckles there. And then legs apart. Just see he's struggling, physically he's struggling to be able to perform that dive.
So that's it for round 3. 51.15. Bit of work to be done by Hernandez. Time to take a look at how things stand at the halfway point of this prelim competition. Well, we'll get to that when we can. Szyszek straight into it for Poland. And he's missed as well. Seen a lot of people going on their back today. And Andrzej, the latest. Zakharov recovering his position a little bit, Chris, but still nowhere near that top 18, so the Olympic champion with work to do.
I'm sure he's going to come back. He's got to be in that semi-final.
He's got to be. 36.75, Szyszek may have just cost himself. Now, what Blaha has done, which so many others haven't, is he's remained consistent. 3 good dives across the opening rounds.
Really excellent 77s and one in the 60s. This should be able to scrape a 70. It's one of the best back 2.5 we've seen. Oh, I'm not giving it to him. He had the height, he looked good in the pike, and he got the entry.
Some of the poor marks from the big names have just suppressed the scores at the moment. Twister then from Law going along well. I mean, he just flies. There is nobody in this competition going higher than Jack Law at the moment.
That is amazing, isn't it? Look, power there, good balance, excellent technique. Feet just a little bit messy. And there, if he just cleaned up that last little splash, well, he's going to get into the high 80s.
Has to settle for 79.20, but so far so good for Jack Law. Vanessa Rinaldi. He too gets his dive down, but Rinaldi in amongst that group of divers really fighting for top 18.
Yeah, he missed the takeoff a little bit. But again, he's using his eyes. He's had a good feel for the dive and got the dive around reasonably well.
67.50, solid enough, but work in progress. We for Malaysia, 16th position. 2 good rounds, a little shaky in the last.
In the 3.5.
No, that will not consolidate the situation, I'm afraid, for the Malaysian diver. He'll drop outside the top 18 with that one.
Well, I wonder why he did that. It's spinning fast, he was comfortable. Yeah, he just came out too early. I think he guesses the entries. He needs to feel it come around further, look at the water, then kick out.
6th position with 41 divers still to go. That shows you how tough things are. Ilas back to 30th after being in the 40s for the first couple of rounds. Can he continue his improvement? Twister from the Mexican, big dive.
He's in trouble.
Oh no, and there's the miss. And you're right, Chris, as soon as you're in trouble on the board, very tough to get out of that one.
The telltale sign was the drop of the arms. There's only 5 divers doing this dive. This is the second that we're seeing. The rest are coming up on round 5 and 6. So he's saying that somebody put him off.
Oh,
He's protesting.
We'll see what happens about that, but Ilas, well, really should have stopped, just like his compatriot. Yes, and De Bruin can't go because this still needs to be sorted.
Yeah, you have to protest straight away.
And he did. His arm was up as soon as he surfaced. The arm went up. Is he going to get a re-dive? We saw this in the Olympics with Tom Daly, and you picked it up, Chris, as As soon as he went, there was the flash photography.
I don't know whether they're going to give it to him, because he's saying when he came around in the twist, but he was clearly having problems in the hurdle step. He's saying, when I come around, I hear or I see something, but I clearly saw there was a problem before.
Oh, judges being tough. He's saying he heard something in the twist that put him off. Judges saying, well, we heard nothing. In all honesty, we didn't hear anything either. And normally you can pick up most things on that poolside microphone. So Ilas is just going to have to take what he's given.
Yeah, the referee's gone over just to double check. Did you hear anything? No.
Should have done what Castillo did and stop on the end of the board and restart, but not easy. Not when you're in full flow on the hurdle step, but that is what Castillo did. Redived and got himself a decent score. Nasty little wait for Jorik de Bruin. Fantastic score in the last round.
Yeah, 86 points. That was amazing.
Needs to keep it ticking over because he doesn't have a particularly high tariff across these final 3 rounds, does the Dutchman. Well, a very cagey but steady dive.
I know, where did that injury come from? It was very good. A little flat-footed there, and he wasn't close to the board. Sometimes the divers flatten their feet just in case. And close to 70 points. Good effort.
Yeah, 67.50 should keep him on track for top 18. Jens Alvarez. Big miss for him, and that's put him right out of it. Miss again, I'm afraid, so the Dominican Republic diver will not be advancing, and we've still got 2 rounds to go.
Yeah, out of time with the arm swing, so his knees bend coming off the diving board, and feet never come up over fast over the top of his head.
Sub 40, very difficult to recover from that once, let alone twice. Kim was going well. Big miss in the last round. That's much more like it, and again another one of those entries that you wonder where it came from, because he was in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, he's spinning so fast here. He does a double, now he comes out the water, floats around, somehow gets his hands in the right place.
Well done to Kim.
Morocco, the country that travels within you.
Welcome back to this dramatic prelim competition here in Barcelona. We've had all sorts going on. We've had big names out of the running, like Zakharov, still trying to recover the situation, the Olympic champion. But we've had a lot of big misses as well. It's going to be fascinating over the closing 3 rounds. Contreras gradually getting things back together, but it's not going to be enough to get into the top 18. Kuznetsov back 2.5 with 1.5 twists, currently in 14th, and he certainly hasn't looked as sharp as we know he can, the Universiade champion. But it is all about advancement to the semi-final here. And the likes of Kuznetsov, Chris, have these massive degree of difficulty dives to finish off this back half, and that's what should take them through.
That's right, he's still got his 4.5 to go. He's going to use that in round 6, the final round. And this is relatively easy for him, 3-3.
69.30, you should be on the telly, Chris, because remarkably, we've got one of the forward 4.5s next up.
There we go.
Klasher in second, he's doing well. Klasher looking very strong. This is big though. Well, Well, he was in trouble on the side of the board like Castillo, but he decided to go through with the dive, and that's a belter.
Yeah, it could have slipped off the side, but he stays with it. Already has 2 dives at 80 points. A little lower finishing, not quite getting his hands.
Again, didn't get the 80, but 77.90 in terms of qualification, just perfect. Jamjami. Oh no, that's well, that wins worst pike of the day, and it also wins most unfortunate injury of the day, I would say.
Yeah, he does a tuck. Now we have the pike, and definitely the flat.
he absolutely forgot the dive. I mean, it happens across 6 program dives. It happens, and he just forgot what he was doing.
I know. I think the pressure's got to him.
How bizarre. Well, slightly embarrassing moment for Jamjami. He can't believe it because he's a tidy diver normally. And the Indonesian.
I wonder how they're going to score it. Halves? Ones?
Yeah.
Because the dive was clearly done in the wrong position. That's a maximum of 2. He didn't go in the water with his hands above his head. So he actually did a head drop onto the water.
Yeah, that's what they're debating now. Is that what he was supposed to do?
There's certain
No, it
rules
isn't.
that have to apply.
So just a hold for the world champion, defending world champion Ho Chong, and there we go.
Yeah, it has to be. I think probably a judge put in a score higher than the 2.5, but it has to be a maximum of 2.
So unfortunate dive for Jamjami, but you're going to get that with 46 divers across 6 rounds. You're going to get some interesting situations. The big names just have to blank all that out and just concentrate on what they're doing. And that's a massive miss from Ho Chong.
Very
Goodness
short.
me.
Just drops out of it. He was currently in first place. Throws good. Spins good. Head up a little bit. Well, he pikes out on the triple. He just wasn't high enough to do that. It was at a 45-degree angle going into the water.
45.9 is the score. That's poor from the defending champion. Garcia. Well, he's certainly better with his twisting dives, is the Spaniard.
Now, I'm wondering if he landed on the corner. Yes, he did. And now he's pulling very hard. And that's why he can't keep his feet together. Straight going in the water. Judges will pick that up, though, and have marked it down. Well, you had a difference there from 5 right up to 6.5.
Well, it's tough, isn't it, for the judges? They're seeing all sorts in this competition. Cho on 18. That's the bubble for progression to the semi-final. So Kwan Hun of Korea has a chance, but he's got 3 rounds of diving still to come and not high tariffs. So he'll be looking to rip the entries like that for the next 2 dives to follow.
He's working the board very well. The arm swing comes through at the right time. Good pike position. We've seen a lot of divers with bent knees. No problem there with the pike. And the reach back was very good. Well, they're not really given the technique, the scores. 180 now. The rest 7s.
Chris Mears, like Zakharov, has a situation to recover from. A miss on the last round. Just gets it through, but that was quite laboured from Chris Mears. I think he was so worried about another error that he took it easy here.
Yeah, he's pulling back quite wide off the diving board, so the feet don't come up very fast. And there you see him just struggling to get the dive around on the end.
69.30. Well, it's a start to the recovery, but he may just run out of time. Castillo, been brilliant so far. What an incredible stop to his dive. He's forward 4.5 in the last round. Another big tariff dive here, but he needs to score properly in this one. Oh, superb off the springboard, and just unlucky that he didn't finish that as well as he could have.
Yeah, he stops on the previous dive. Here, up in the air, he's got the toes pointed, finishing board level, good kick out. Just a small arch in the back.
Still good though, 78.75. That's back to where the Mexican wants to be. Casting, 10th position, in with 3.5 for the German. It's all business with Patrick when it's prelims and semi-finals. He just does what he has to do to get into the final. And he's not doing it very well, in all honesty, but Houston should still be good enough to get there.
Yeah, 2 years ago he got into the semi-finals but then struggled and had the same problem and didn't get into the final. He finished 15th.
40.80. Judges are punishing this morning. 22nd position for Riley McCormick. It's not over yet for the Canadian. And that will help the cause.
Yeah, he's been in the 60s. He now needs to get at least into the 70s for the last 3 rounds. Got 4 places to make up. Good reach back. Could have been higher on the jump.
69.
Still got some work to do.
But it does keep him going along, and that's what you need. You don't want to miss that. Completely detracts from your challenge. Yue is the man. 23rd. So still very much a possibility of top 18.
There's 70. He's going to go. Well, he's not going to, but I was going to say go ahead of the Canadian. But he'll be down in the low 60s because of the kick over. Good pike. Oh, it didn't need to arch. Should come out earlier. It might be even lower than that. Oh, it is. 49.
That's going to hurt. 49 marks. So Chu with work to do. Stefan Feck has been the more impressive of the 2 German divers so far. Individually in the synchro competition, he also looks solid. And just about gets that round. Workmanlike from Feck.
Yeah, had the chin tucked right down in the tuck as he came around and just lost sight of the water. And then because of that, just rides over at the end. Doesn't matter though, in 8th place. Currently, for the moment at least, into 5th.
66.30, that will be fine for Stefan. Xian just struggling to convince the judges at the moment of his ability. And wow, a little bit too far from the board really to get the big marks, but very interesting out.
Yeah, he's in 24th position. And the Malaysian ahead of him has missed. Well, that's a Chinese style out. He just didn't have the height because of the lean back.
55 marks. Still struggles. Chanturia. In trouble from the moment he hit the end of the board, the Georgian. And that was never going to happen, and the coach knows it.
Yeah, the arms are dropped there. He's already struggling, not spinning fast. He's having to hang on for dear life. He just comes out too early. I don't think it would have mattered much. He would have been on top of his shoulders anyway. Can't do that dive without a good takeoff.
No, 26.25. It is all over for Chola. Espen Valheim. Missed in the last round. On target though, and going along nicely, Espen.
Yeah, he's just 2 spots out. A little too much pull there. He's moving off to the side. I wonder if the judges have picked that up. He can get in the 60s. He'll be fine. He's still got a chance now.
Sebastian Morales in the 3.5 in 27th position, so this needs to be good, otherwise it will probably be the end of his challenge.
Yeah, it's his last chance.
That's okay. Let's see what the judges think, because that's going to be all important here for Stefan.
Yeah, good squeeze there. It's just, again, running out of water. He did the best thing he could, just punch straight out of it. No fancy piking out.
Sebastian 62.90. So Castro. 2.5 then for the Brazilian. And making that one look easy, as he should have done, but he's another diver that finishes 3.0 for these closing rounds, and that degree of difficulty could count against him.
I think he's in 13th place at the moment. He seems very consistent. He is going through on the 60s, and he's on target at the moment, 272.
Okay. Missed by his standards in the last round. 3.5 somersault for round 4. But Chong also missed, so China just a little bit sketchy through the mid-phase. And he's cut that one off as well.
Yeah, weight back on the heels, drifting back as he throws. As he's throwing his arms forward, the force is then pushing his hips back. And see, he finishes below the board, flattens his feet. He's squeezing like dear life. It doesn't feel good going around because of that takeoff. And he normally does the dive better, so he's not quite sure what to do on the out.
66.30 for Chin. Short Sakai. Oh, love it, love it. A little bit flat-footed as he went round in the pike, but overall that was a super dive.
Good swing back, now pull forward. It's a shame about those feet. Everything else was really good.
The judges liked it.
Beaten all.
78.00. Javi Milana comes to the board, 6th position. Good, solid performance from the Spaniard. And again, gets it round. Crowd now right on side.
Yeah, being the 70s, his coach is shaking his head because he actually is travelling forward. He can go even higher than this, and he has to wait longer in the tuck and kick up. Oh, he's saying out. Oh, doesn't matter.
What the situation is there. We'll have to look into that, because that's the Canadian coach that they're showing that is cheering him on. Goes off. Not going as well as his compatriot Fasher, but they have a good chance of still qualifying too.
Yeah, tough, because he had his right toe, 2 toes over the corner of the diving board, and misses his hands on the entry.
12th for the moment, but 54.25. Every score in the 50s puts you back into the problem area. Abbas Abdul Rahman still waiting him for Abbas to hit an entry here. The current diving start.
Oh no.
That's a good save.
Yeah. Again, he was nearly going to shoot off the side of the diving board. He's there, 1 foot behind the other. He's now travelling towards the judges. Still, he held it on. Got there nearly.
Better effort from Abdul Rahman. Next instalment of the Zakharov soap opera. Oh, how did he make that entry that far back from the end of the board?
Well, there's so many divers missing their takeoffs and struggling. Double twist. And very short of vertical.
He's fighting here, isn't he? The judges want him to go through. Zakharov trying to give him every encouragement. Nearly into the 80s. He is clawing his way back up this leaderboard, but it's going to be an exciting final 2 rounds. Francois Mbodelac. Keep it tight. And it's not great.
No, pulled it into the diving board. Right here, he's using his shoulders. He's over the top of the board. He's thinking now, don't reach back too early, and he brings his arms around the side so he doesn't hit his hands on the board.
50.75, that will not help the cause either. Bergslian.
Uh-oh.
Unfortunately, that was a real problem from the start. He's done incredibly well to get a score out of this, because that could have been serious trouble.
Yeah, with the bent legs like this, it has to be 4.5 or lower. It's a deficient dive.
It's 45.
We've got 5.5s, and that dive was done in a tuck and pike position.
Well, judges getting to see everything this morning. It's causing them a few issues. Paparounis has been very good so far. Big diver, comfortably top 10.
Second hardest dive. 3.5.
No, a miss for Paparounis. It shouldn't do him any harm.
He jumped forward in his hurdle step, and now he continues to go forward. He doesn't swing his arms through. Telltale sign there with the flat feet is that he's struggling to get around.
Oh, well, I'll revise that. 49. That's a painful score for Paparunas to take. We'll take a break.
Diving sensation Tom Daley aims to repeat his astonishing feat of 4 years ago.
Tom Daley is the world champion on the 10-metre platform.
Diving World Championships, men's 10-metre platform. Saturday from 9 AM, live on British Eurosport HD.
Complete sports coverage of the major stories and results.
Coming off, throws the head back, now forward, open tuck position, flat feet, holds on too long, and big dive for him, struggling all the way around, misses it.
Needed that because he was just working his way back into contention. Ibsen is in contention at 15, but would like to consolidate with this dive, a twister. Too had trouble with the hurdle step, but once again the experience allowing him to get that round.
Yeah, good effort. He has landed back, but he gets the throw, now the twist. Takes positions quite good and still has enough time to lock out.
71.40. That's fine. Evgeny Karalio in 38th position has dived very similarly to the way that he dived in the synchro competition, but he hasn't missed anything really badly yet. Thrown him forward, still gets the entry somehow.
Yeah, somehow. Long way forward. The arms are too slow, pushes the hips forward, travelling forward. He's using his eyes, that saved him. Reaches back at the last moment.
55 just can't seem to get into the mid to upper 60s. This man has been there, but in the miss in the last round dumped him right back down to 42. Two high tariff dives to finish actually for Vinko. So if he can follow that one with two decent scores, then there's still a chance, an outside chance.
Yeah, they have to be near perfect. Oh, that's a shame. If he put his head back on the entry, he would have got a cleaner go through on that lineup.
Jamaica's Yona Knight Wisdom moved himself up to 40th. Well, tentative with the hurdle step, but then got some really good height in the end.
Good effort there. Swimming back fast, so he's pleased. There. Good pike position. Just untidy with the feet, crossing over.
Yeah, that's good. 60 for Yona. Nell was cruising, and then all went wrong in round 3. Dumped him right back down to 17, so needs to recover the situation, but he's got good degree of difficulty across the final 3. And that will save him, because dives like that, not particularly impressive in terms of the way he's performed it, but good enough for marks.
Yeah, 3.4. Didn't take it up. It's now moving away from the diving board. And didn't punch out. He's looking for the water. He should have reacted by a quick kick out.
56. I thought he might get into the 60s there, but no. Judges been really tough on entries today. And Hernandez to finish our 4th round. He's got that down. Nice sound to the entry.
Yeah, he's in the 28th position at the moment. Needs to work on that pike, definitely. Gets the vertical entry. Get, well, into the 60s with 63, maybe still a chance.
He's done well to move himself up to 23. Right, Kvasha leads for Ukraine, ahead of Castillo. Jack Law in third. You have to go right down to 5 and 6 to pick up the two Chinese divers, Qin Kai and He Chong, in a competition that over the years they haven't dominated as much as other areas. But it's moving into this third page where we will really see the interest for the prelim phase of this competition. Rinaldi, McCormick, Valheim all around the bubble, but look at that, more drama. Housding is outside the top 18, and he's not the only big name as well. Chris Mears, Benedetti, all of them really struggling to get into that top 18, but the big news this morning is all about the Olympic champion, and Zakharov is having a really tough time of it. He's got to be huge in his last two rounds if he really wants to make it there. So we head into our fifth round. Just checking down to see exactly where Zakharov was. I don't think he appeared on that graphic, bizarrely enough. We were trying to keep an eye out for him. He definitely did go up a little way. My apologies. He was in 21st position, just behind Housding. So concentrating on the fact that Patrick wasn't in the top 18. But those two should still qualify.
He's done an amazing job to come back. Only had 80-odd points in the first two dives, but now he's 7 points out of 18th position.
Krzysztof for Poland, missing the last round. That was a little too splashy as well, and I'm afraid from Onje's point of view and from Poland's point of view, it's not looking good for top 18.
Yeah, not sharp at all with his entries. Technique is good, but every time he goes for his entry, his body goes loose, his back arches. That time his feet came apart. Something's going on there.
Blaha, 4 good rounds so far for 9th position. And you've got to hand it to the Austrian. He does know how to get himself through these rounds. That was his worst dive so far of the competition.
Yeah, bends the arms here on the takeoff, just a little loose. Now at this point, if he just hangs on a fraction longer, we can see him opening up on the second somersault. It's unusual for him to do that.
Not 54, not great. But should still hang on to his top 18 place. Jack Law, third, been diving beautifully. There's the young Brit, back 3.5 then for him.
Yeah, he's got some big dives now. 3.5 and a 3.8.
It's all good, isn't it, for Jack Law?
Well, that was really good, and for a prelim too. Swings the arms fast, and watch this spin. Triple at board level. Good kick out. Spot on with the reach back too.
84 marks. He's flying. It's composure. That's so far so good.
Yeah, just the feet again, a little bit loose, going around. Struggling slightly there on the pike. Gets down straight. Oh, he's below par. Needed to be 68 points to be safe.
This job is still not done then for Tommaso. Was going so well. And a couple of untidy rounds, and that's cost him a lot of places. And that will, unfortunately, I think, put pay to his chances. That's probably the end for Wee.
Yeah, there's just too many missed dives there. 39 points previous round. And not one that we expected to see out to the semi-finals either.
49 marks then. And that's Liang, who's struggling, as is this man, Daniel Ilas. Now, the only thing that can save Ilas is the fact that he finishes big. Missed his last round when he really needed it, but 2 big finishing dives.
Problems?
No, that was so close. That was frighteningly close to the end of the board.
Yeah, and again, a diver knows when they're close, and the problem is that you hang on. Oh, look at that. Now, is he going to the side of the board? His head missed that board by just 3 centimetres.
his arms tucked in and everything, and he's got away with that to a certain extent, 59.50. But what he hasn't got away with is the fact that will not advance him up the leaderboard. Now then, how about this man, Yorick de Bruin? Brilliant so far. One of the highest scores of the competition as well. Can the Dutchman get it together for these last two rounds? 3.0, very straightforward dive for him. And he's trying to make absolutely sure of this, isn't he, Chris? He's not pushing the envelope.
No, it's an incredible story, actually. I was looking back, and after the first round, he's back in 28th place. Then he scored 86 points in the third round, and he's now in 8th place, and another good dive.
He has that one banker dive in the competition. If he hits it, then he can be consistent across the other rounds and benefit. 66, still good enough for Yorick, but not good enough for those chasing a top 18. Alvarez then for the Dominican Republic. This will be his penultimate dive. That's too close. He's hit the board, and this is what can happen in springboard diving, and that will have hurt him badly. Unfortunately, they're going to need to get some medical support into him pretty quick.
What has happened is that when his foot hit the board, his knee is hyperextended. The left knee is hyperextended. He's damaged his knee.
Well, they're made of tough stuff, these divers, and a little bit of concern from the diving fans in the crowd, but they'll have seen this a lot before.
Yeah, right here, it's hyper, and he's then hit his face on top of his knee. Oh, I hope he's going to be all right. So he's caught his left eye socket, and he's hyperextended his knee as well. Get some ice on that straight away.
Yeah, not as bad, trust me, not as bad as it could have been, but it's still a bad one. And Alvarez may not come out for the last round. We will see. Oh, the drama continues. Kim, it's not the sort of drama we want, though. We want to see clean dives, and Kim going nice and far away from the board. Does play on the mind of the divers if they see something like that?
Well, it certainly does. It's been a long time since we've seen a bad entry like that, or a bad hit on the board. Remember, it was the American Chelsea that hit in Montreal.
What drives exceptional performance in sports? Lexus Amazing in Motion brings you sports excellence. The more you share experiences, the greater they become. What drives exceptional performance in sports? Lexus Amazing in Motion brings you sports excellence.
Well, a stop, I'm afraid, for Terras. Lorenzo, his compatriot, through his dive. Reasonably good effort. Same dive to follow for Dixon, but unfortunately he's started and stopped. We've had that once already in this competition from Castillo of Mexico.
Oh, he's in problems again.
And just about gets that down. Well, that's a brave effort from the Venezuelan.
Well, it's a similar problem here. The arms are dropping. He's all over the place, and he's now going for his 3.5. At least he didn't pull it too close to the diving board. How to judge that? Well, they've scored it right down. 2 point deduction.
2 marks off for restarting the dive. Twister then from Kuznetsov. Talked about the drama that we've had in this competition. Alvarez has hit the board in round 5. Dominican Republic diver, that's problems. And Kuznetsov using his experience to get it round. He's going to have to be a lot better, though, in the semi-final.
Yeah, a long way back from the end of the board. Going into the double twist, that's good. Hold it together for the entry. Would love to start the semi-final in last place, just so the judges know that he has finished first. 63.
Oh, no, drops to Jack Law. Miss from Jamjami in the last round because he just forgot what dive he was going to do. Needs to remember this time. And just about gets round, but I'm afraid the entry very splashy, and miss from Jamjami again.
Well, gets the springy jump, but he's below the board on the triple. Really no time to kick out of it. Didn't get hold of his hands.
37.40. He's got some interesting footage to watch back in the hotel room this evening after this competition. Compatriots filming his diving. Pichong. There we go with the forward 4.5 for the defending world champion.
In fact, his left foot was back because he had to do that, otherwise it would have slipped off the side. And he's trying to make a 4.5, one of the hardest dives in the world, with only half a takeoff.
55.10. Second miss of the competition for her. Garcia in the pike position, but less somersaulting.
Yeah, not enough power on the end of the diving board. Throws in the wrong direction, throwing down at the water instead of more forward. And so it's a slow spin. There's the throw down, bending the knees, trying to get the somersault going. Scramble for the end.
After 1.15 for him. Garcia out of the running for a top 18 spot.
Arms through late, and it just drops like a stone onto the water.
And it's hurt the old bonce and the back. Some cho today. Now, Mears has 3.4, 3.8. It is not completely beyond the realms of possibility that he can make top 18, but these have to be high 80s at the very least. No, it's a miss, I'm afraid, and Chris Mears' competition is evaporating here in Barcelona.
Yeah, shame here, because it is a good takeoff. He is spinning fast, just reacts too early to the kick out, and then suddenly he realizes and he tries to do a scoop to pull the feet up, and it doesn't work. I think it was a bit more of a guess rather than spot the water.
Oh dear, 37.40. Chris Mears still around to come, but his day is done. Not so for Yahel Castillo, second after 4 rounds of diving. The Mexican with a restart, still good enough to be second. That's incredible. Round 3 restarted his forward 4.5. Floats that out very nicely. Castillo will be a medal. Joint biggest dive of the competition to come next for Castillo. Housding.
It's back a long way.
And wow, how on earth did Patrick Housding pull that out of the bag?
And boy, did he need to. He's in 20th place at the moment, with a chance of not making the semis, and with that takeoff, he was going to blow it, but somehow he stayed with it, kicked up, and got the dive around, and it's nearly 90 points.
89.25. That's made him smile. That's the dive that Chris Mears needed for Great Britain, really. Riley McCormick then. Canadian. Just under the radar a little bit. Just didn't get the height, but he certainly got the entry.
Yeah, well, Housding's already gone ahead of him. Just 2 places back with that high degree of difficulty. She said it's a neat entry, great feet extension going through the water.
63 marks then. temporarily in 10th. It's going to be a fascinating final round. Chu with a miss in the last round. He hasn't been able to get the judges on side really today. And that's better.
I'm calculating he's back in 28. He's got to pick up 10 spaces. He needs to be in the high 70s or even in the 80s. So even with this really good reverse 2.5, not sure if that's going to be enough. He's got a 3.4 in the last round. They haven't marked that height up. 64 points.
Perfect. Reverse 3.5 for the German.
He's back a long way.
He's again used that experience. He knew the dive wasn't working as he wanted it to, but made the adjustments in the air.
Yeah, very close here. Same as Housding. Bad takeoff, kicks up and gets the dive around.
77. Stefan Feck. A bit of a bonus this prelim event. A lot of diving to get through, but we've seen some very dramatic situations. We've seen great dives, we've seen misses, and it all adds to the pageant. So Zhizhen of Hong Kong, another man who hasn't quite convinced the judges of his ability. Doesn't really have the tariff to dive himself through from here.
Forward. Or hesitated coming out and then wobbled around. Back in 26th place at the moment. Well, the kick out here suddenly wobbles with the feet as he goes through the water.
52.50. Chanchuria. And Georgian hasn't looked anywhere near as sharp as we saw last year. Vadim Kapcha in the audience watching on.
I think this is going to be his best dive. Most of the other dives are down on 26 or 41 points. Half decent attempt here on the 3.5. It is his highest scoring dive so far.
Here we go, 63.55. It's been Valheim. And there or thereabouts for the whole of this competition. The Norwegian, though, needs two superb closing dives, only 3.0 for both. These have to be perfect. And that isn't, I'm afraid. That may have cost Espen a place in the next round.
And he just needed to reach back. It's good. This is a good back 2.5. He's finished at board level and then doesn't get the head back, doesn't get the reach back. He's lost 10 points just there.
So Espen will stay outside the top 18. Sebastian Morales is already there. Reverse 2.5 somersaults for the Colombian. 24th position. There is hope.
Back though.
Oh, that is such a shame. That was a lovely pike.
Yeah, because he was back on the board, he couldn't bring his arms through and reach for the water at the right time. He's knowing that he has to hold in, otherwise he's going to hit his hands on the board. And because of that, he washed over.
47.50. That is Sebastian's competition done. Same dive now from Castro. 10th position for the Brazilian. His toes were over, but didn't seem to affect him. He's got a lot of power, this young man.
Yeah, he just needs steady scores now. He's moving forward. That's why it's hard to get his head close to his legs on the pike. Gets around for a reasonable entry.
63 marks is fine. That will maintain a top 18 position. Big dive now for Shinkai. Not had a great time of it, and neither has Chong. Forward 4.5 then for him in that top position. Dear me, and nobody is getting this right. That's a huge miss from Ching.
Another bad takeoff. See how far he lands back off the end of the diving board. It felt like a lump of concrete. He's not got the height he needs, and he lands on his shoulders, top of his head, going through the water. It's not his day, is it?
Chris, doesn't it show you how good Castillo's decision was? You know, he stopped, restarted, and outscored by 20 points, that dive from Chin. And we go. And that's much better. Those are the rip entries we like to see, and Sakai has really put it together. The Japanese diver in these last two rounds has been fantastic.
Wow, look at that height. He must have been up 6.5 meters and then gets the kick out as well. 91.
That's good. That's good. What a score.
Have we had a 91 yet?
No, best score of the competition then for Sakai. Now that sets him up with a chance in the last round. And while all this is going on, Javier Lana has done just what the Spanish fans wanted him to do. Nice, steady diving so far from Javi. And that will do nicely. It's all good.
Yeah, just took it a little bit on the shoulders. It's in full, so it doesn't matter. Throwing, nice and safe, not too close, good distance. Just needed maybe another 30 centimeters of height just in time to lock out. There's the strain, trying to pull in. 73.10.
Absolutely fine for Javier Lana. Kovasov. And that's unlucky. Just washed over when he really needed the score.
Yeah, it starts with the throw and just hangs into that pike a little too long. So when he finishes his twist, the feet fly over the top of his head. Need to be out of the pike sooner.
51-0. We've got the same family of dives to come from 3 divers, but at varying degrees of difficulty. So 3.4 is followed by this one at 3.0 from Abdul Rahman. And he's done it well. That's his best dive of the competition so far.
That's right. He's been down as low as 31 points. He's got some 38 points. May be able to get into the 60s with this. Good effort. Slightly back on the end of the diving board. There you go.
There we go. 60 dead. So well done to Abbas.
Take a look at the next one, though.
Oh, I know. This is huge. This is a massive dive. No. Oh, my goodness me. And Zakharov is having a nightmare in this prelim competition. And Chris, he's got to find his best in the last round. He is out. The Olympic champion will be gone.
Yeah, what's happening here is that he's trying too hard. He's not got the rhythm on the board. The board isn't working on behalf of him, and he's not getting the height. And you can't do that. You can't do a triple twisting 2.5 without the height and without that timing on the board.
18th with a lot of divers to come. That was a banker dive for him. He's not made it. In Bordelac. And that's a very nice finish.
Looked smooth, didn't it? Going around, no wobbles. Hung well in the air there. Throws at the right time, out at the right time. Good position. Checks it and locks out.
81.60. Absolutely perfect timing from Imbo Delac. It gives him a chance in the final round. Bergstein has slipped back to 33. And unfortunately very tentative there on the hurdle step. That's cost him his dive.
Yeah, even though he's got a 3-4 as well after this, he's just too far back. Heads up, heels are away from the body, slow spin, low finish.
64.75. Not to improve his situation. Paparounis for Greece in 13th position. Really is about consolidation across these last 2 rounds for Stefanos. He's got his big dive, he's forward 4.5 to come, so needs a bit of protection from a good solid mid-70s dive here.
Normally quite good, quite safe diving with 2.5.
Very nice indeed. That'll do the trick for Paparounis.
You know, just checking to make sure he's not too close, especially after seeing Alvarez hit the board. Been just a little bit close there, and I think he knew that. He just saw his feet relax, just in case.
Yeah, not quite into the 70s, but Paparounis will be fine with that. Welcome back. Kupar of Cuba, followed by Gomez of the Dominican Republic, who have both dived. It's not going to change anything on the leaderboard. Benedetti. Well, that was an important dive for Michele, but he's blown it.
Reverse here, reverse twisting 2.5. A little bit off to the side of the board, knees bent, and yes, he's missed his entry.
54.45 keeps him out of the top 18. Christian Ibsen, 12th position, not done anything really wrong. Christian, unsteady. That'll do.
He was lucky there. You'll notice that he drops his arms in his hurdle step, he feels forward and then gets his arms back over his head, so he's now cranking it as fast as he can and kicks. Oh, I just needed to kick up a fraction more. Shaking his head, thinking, oh, what happened there? Anyway, 75 points.
Yeah, it's going to be a comfortable qualification if he can hit that last round dive. Corralio forward 2.5 somersaults with the 2 twists for the Belarus diver. 3.4 the tariff. Flew off down the pool, but then recovered the situation and got that lovely rip sound as he went through the water.
Yeah, a little problem here. As he throws, he snaps out very slow, and that makes for a slow twist. And then it takes forever to come around, so he didn't grab his hands on the entry.
62.90. Corralio will not be advancing into this afternoon's semi-final. Neither will this man. Vinko Paradzik made a good start, but with his degree of difficulty being a lot lower than the rest of the field, he can't afford a miss, and he has missed a dive. Excellent height, worked hard on that one.
Yeah, good try. Holds the arms up, just drops a little early, back up over the board, squeezing well. He knows he has to kick up, and he does.
It's decent scoop, done that. Back 2.5 then for Unionite Wisdom. Outside the 40s, then 40 itself, then back in. Won't qualify, but he'll be delighted with that dive.
Yeah, he's getting better and better, isn't he? 60 points on the back 2.5, on the reverse 2.5. Similar dive, this is the back 2.5. Good hug of the legs, reaching back well.
Yeah, 67.50.
Well, if he had 10 rounds of dives and keeps getting better, he'll get into the semi-final.
Outside chance, top 18 go through. Big dive here for the Australian. Grant Nell needs this. This is his forward 4.5. The hands slap on into a very good tuck position, and then the entry, fantastic.
Yeah, now hard work of this because he's not particularly high, so he's squeezing. He knows he's just going to shoot out of it. No fancy come-outs with a pipe. And a good effort for a low jumping front 4.5. Just a little open on that tuck.
Well, now back into the top 18. Well done to him. 85.50, exactly what he wanted that dive to deliver. And Hernandez to finish, still in with a chance. That won't help though, I'm afraid. Good flutter on the legs and then short on the entry.
Yeah, just slightly out early at this first part here. Should be out now, and he's not. And then when he comes around, the feet aren't far enough back to get the vertical entry.
56.10, it's going to be a tough one for Hernandez to qualify. What a brilliant competition so far. 5 rounds of diving. Jack Law leads for Great Britain ahead of Ilya Kvasha. Then it's Javier Lana of Spain. And great European feel to that top 3. Chinese divers, including the defending world champion, He Chong, struggling just a bit. He's down in 10th. Qin Kai with a miss down in 12th. But it's this next page that is all important. 18th position occupied by Riley McCormack, Tommaso Rinaldi and Alexander Gorshkovasov, either side of them. And we drop down a little bit further through the rankings, and Zakharov is there, so he's got to have a big last round. But there will be some names missing from our semi-final. Chris Mears tipped to get through, he won't be there. And we will see if our man that missed his dive in the last round does come out and dive again. Argensis Alvarez of Dominican Republic hit the board, hyperextended his knee, caught himself in the face as well with his knee. And Chris, you don't think with a hurdle step in the 6th round he'll dive?
No, it's very unlikely. I'll be very surprised. He's got a 3.5 pike. It's not particularly difficult at 3-1, but if he's jumping off that left leg, it was the left leg that got damaged, he won't be able to jump into the hurdle step. If he was maybe doing a standing dive, possibly. And you don't know what damage has been done. So he's with the medical staff at the moment, and we'll see if he comes out.
Zakharov has a forward 4.5 to finish. Can he do it?
He's now 12 points back. I'm not so sure.
It's going to be tough for the Olympic champion to qualify through. On we go then with our 6th and final round. Twister from Shoshatek. That is his competition over, but he finishes on a high. He will be very frustrated, though, Anjay. He missed in a couple of earlier rounds, and that's cost him.
I know, and we know he's so much better. He should have been doing these dives all throughout. It's similar to 2 years ago. He had an up and down prelims, and he finished in 35th place.
Good last score, though, 358.25 overall. You've got to be up near 400 to get through this prelim. Konstantin Blaha could be our first man to do that. Oh, trouble. What a time to miss it. Oh, dear. And Blaha has just put himself in serious trouble here.
Well, that's right. He's back in 13th place, and he just needed an average dive. He missed out on the semi-final. Again, 2 years ago, he came 19th, and this, he's under 400 points. It's unlikely that he'll be in the top 18.
This man will be there, though. Jack Law, looking for the big finish. Forward 4.5. Well, he is just superb today, no doubt about it. Jack Law looking like the star of this British team right now.
Yeah, check this out. He just keeps going up. 1, 2, 3. Now he's dropping. 4, he's above the board. He pikes out. Just a small movement with the feet. The maximum score you can get on this dive is 114 points. He's been over 100 before in his career, and he knows he can do better.
85, 471. Law, genuine medal contender. Got the semi-final to get through still. Rinaldi on the bubble. 17th position. This has got to be spot on. And that's good. Is it good enough?
Well, probably not. He piked out too early, so made the dive look very low. Good here in the tuck, but he comes out pike. Not high enough to do that.
59.50 for 383.95. Shake of the head. That's a lower score than Blaha. So Rinaldi in trouble. The Malaysian finishes his competition with a good entrance on that twister.
Yeah, he's flying here. Just a little forward away from the board, but in the air it looks good. Double twist, re-square, locks out. Shame he went forward by about half a metre too far.
354, not going to be good enough. Daniel Ilas has a programme that should have dived him comfortably into the semi and probably the final. Forward 4.5 to finish. Not going to happen for him, though. Great last dive, but we're not going to see any more from Ilas today.
Yeah, even with 114, he wouldn't get into the top 18. He's just too far back in 35th place. Good effort, though. Finishes the quad at 3 metres.
So Ilas out. Mexico lose one diver. De Bruin. We like to do the Ilas poor Yorick gag each time we see Yorick diving, but there's been none of it today. He's been superb. This to book his place in the semi-final. Netherlands will have representation in the next round.
Yeah, really good effort. Bad takeoff, back from the end, out of timing, but comes out at the right time, double twist. Wasn't the prettiest of the dives and doesn't grab his hands, but it's enough.
For 14.70. De Bruin will be in action later. Europe have been very strong in this springboard competition. He's out to dive, Alvarez. Full marks. Well, you know what they say, get back on the horse. Unfortunately, it's not a great result, but at least Yanis Avares was able to get out and dive, but he's hurt.
Yeah, he's limping. I don't think he should have been up on that board. But I have to put it to him, he's very brave. It's the left leg that hurts, the one that is damaged. And you can see finishing very low, missing it. He's probably just thinking about the leg.
Kim to finish his programme. And a very nice entry. That's what he's capable of, the Korean.
Yeah, good last dive, 3.5.
Steadies himself enough to bow to the crowd. 373.20. He's just going to miss out. Not by much. Jesus Liranzo, long-legged Venezuelan. Signs off with a big high twister. I think he felt he was quite close to the board there and just never really opened up.
Yeah, this is a reverse 1.5 somersaults, 3.5 twists. Watching the toes as he comes around, very close indeed. Nearly caught the toenail on the end of the board.
Signs off, sub 300. So another one that will not move forward, and neither will Edixon Contreras. Restart in the last round. Well, he got that down nicely. That was a good save from Edixon.
Bad action though, pulling right over the board. He does finally move away. That was the wrong action to go into the twist. It's a dangerous action.
3:30.45, so Contreras is out. Evgeny Kuznetsov in 11th, so needs to be solid with this forward 4.5. That'll be fine, so we'll see Evgeny Kuznetsov in the semi-final, but he will need to be a lot sharper than he's been in this prelim.
And it's really tough when you get into the semi-final. They're going to cut from 18 down to 12. You really can't afford to miss there because the standard will be much harder to get into the top 12. 76 points there to finish.
From 19 overall. Fasher in second behind Jack Law. Fasher will also qualify for the semi. Twister to finish. And a lovely finish considering these toes were right over on the end, but he's done well there, Ilya.
Yeah, the entry is very impressive. Feet a little apart here. Back together again. Good entry. Can they go over 80? Nearly.
57.15 comfortably beats Kuznetsov's score, but settles in second behind Jack Law. Jamjami, his last dive of the competition.
Oh, he's on the corner of the board.
Well, he's been entertaining today, has Ahmad.
Certainly has, and big smiles as well. Right on the corner here, travelling forward. Now, does his feet hit the water first? No, he got his hands there.
Just escapes.
Yeah, it's going to be halves, ones.
There we go, for 9 points. Not the way that Jamjami wanted to sign off. And not the way that this man, the defending champion, He Chong, wanted to perform. 10th position for the two-time world champion. Former Olympic gold medalist in 2008, former Olympic champion. Big finish. 3.9 on the tariff for this huge twister.
He went 107 points on this 2 years ago. Not this time.
He won't do it this time, will he? Flutter of the feet. It's a good dive. It'll score well. He will be in the semi-finals, but He Chong has got some work to do.
Saw him drop his arms in the hurdle step. He was already off balance. Still makes the dive. Yeah, the same thing happened in the Olympics where he got the bronze medal. Reigning champion at that point, lost out, and then finished third.
21.85. Garcia to finish for Spain. A decent finish for him, but that's his last dive of today's competition.
Yeah, single twister to finish. Just to work on all of the positions. When you go into a pike, you need to have your knees straight. Grabbing your hands, you need to have your head up.
710 confirms his exit. Chok Kwan-hoon also will take a bow at this stage. too much effort, and it looked like a tough dive as well, and it shouldn't have been. It's a relatively straightforward dive at this level.
He's had one or two good dives, been up in the 70s, but also dropped right down a couple of the dives. That's his steady dive to finish, but he's way off the mark at 3.37.
Chris Mears to finish with his forward 4.5. I really didn't think we'd be saying that this was Chris Mears' last dive of the day. And what a shame that he couldn't produce that sort of form in previous rounds, because it would have been very straightforward for Chris to progress.
Yeah, or even in the Olympics. I look back on his scores, and he went 100.7 on this dive in the Olympic final. And we're not going to see him even in the semi-final.
3:48.15, Chris departs. Castillo of Mexico, 4th position, finishes with that same complex twisting dive that we saw from Chong. Dived beautifully today as Castillo, and considering he's up there in 4th with a restart, the automatic 2-point deduction, that's impressive. All-out aggression, he was short, but he made it look like a decent entry.
Yeah, technically very good, landing well. He just here, the out was a little too early, just needed to flick for a bit longer and then out, and he would have been vertical on the end.
High Tariff saves him at 70.20, 4.38 overall. Castillo makes it through to the semi-final. Can Patrick Halsting join him? He was outside the top 18, but a good last round.
He's in problems.
Well, again, Halsting pretty much making it up as he goes along to make sure the dive is finished.
Yeah, he's out of balance going into the hurdle. He's back on his heels and has to pull right back over the board to get the dive moving. Couldn't use his arms, he has to use his shoulder.
Goodness me, 4:09.40. It's going to be tight, but Patrick should be home. McCormick, right on the bubble. Well, he needed to be better than that, and that may have cost Riley McCormick a place in the semi.
Yeah, he needs about 68 points on this, and it's all gone wrong. Out, feet apart, and then it dies on the end. He can't get his feet up and together, and he's going to score low.
Yeah, 374.50. That is probably it for McCormick. 385, probably going to be about the bubble with Konstantin Blahart of Austria, but we'll see if that turns out to be the case. Sure you wait. Malaysia to finish. A nice tidy dive, but really not where he wants to be score-wise.
Yeah, another diver has been a little bit inconsistent. Chin position down. Gets there in the end. We did expect him to do better, didn't we?
Yes, indeed. 368.75. Chu departs. Stefan Feck to take his place in the semi-finals. 5th at the moment, should be comfortable. An absolute stroll into the semis for Stefan Feck.
We should see the scores move back up into the 80s. A bit void of those for the moment. So high. Out, look, lock out. Excellent.
Yes, nicely done. Not quite into the 80s, but 4.49.0 underlines his position. So he's in. A not tough situation here for Chi Jian of Hong Kong. He's got the tariff at 3.4 for this twister. What can he do? Well, sometimes the divers do just make it relatively straightforward for the judges. That one not as good as it needed to be.
Yeah, feet could be a little bit more locked out. Could have been higher, just slightly under the board coming around. And the line-up wasn't really correct in front of the face.
15th with a lot of divers still to come. Chanchuria's last dive of the tournament. And, not great from him. He just hasn't looked in particularly good shape. I thought he looked a lot better at the Olympics last year.
Yeah, he's going to finish in a similar position he did 2 years ago. Back in the 30th of places.
61.20 for 317. Espen Valheim, 20th position. Inward 2.5 somersaults to finish. 3.0 on the degree of difficulty means that he's going to really struggle to get out of the 60s on this dive. It's okay, but it's not great, and that's probably it for Espen.
Yeah, he needs over 70 points really to be safe. He's now going to have to rely completely on all the others. These could be locked out, needs to be closer.
Yeah, and that's it, I'm afraid. Espen Valheim will not progress after threatening to do so on a couple of occasions. Sebastian Morales Mendoza won't be going through either. Same dive for him, the Colombian, to finish his programme. And very nicely done. It's a shame, really, because the Colombian is clearly a really good diver. There's a lot of athletic and gymnastic ability there. Just needs to string it together for the entries.
That's right. He had, I guess, the best dive he's done was in round 2. Really good 3.5 pike, and that's where we saw the potential he had.
50 points off where he needs to be for a place in the semis. Cesar Castro, though, is there. 15th place, inward 2.5 for him to finish, but this has got to be good still. And it is. Now then, can he get close to that 400 mark? He certainly needs to go past 385.
Yeah, good dive. He should be safely through there, as long as he goes under over 400 points.
Yes, 402.60. Good qualification for Cesar Castro. Chinkai, I don't think we felt we'd see this graphic. 12th position for the former world champion. Twister to finish. He has the semi-final to get his head and his body together, Chris.
Yeah, he's very scruffy today. Here, arms drop early, pulls over the ball, legs coming apart. Not really locked out there, knees bent in the pike. Certainly he will sharpen up in the semi-finals.
He's through, though. Trying to have their first diver in. Now Sakai, brilliant recovery. And that is save of the century from Sho Sakai. He was down and out, Chris, in the early rounds, but some brilliant diving to recover from the Japanese man.
But yeah, he went 91 points on that reverse 3.5, and that's now projected him over 420 points.
So Japan's top diver through, 421.75. Spain's top diver should progress as well. Javi Alana. Beautiful twisting from Javi. He won't be pleased with the finish to that dive, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's all about positioning now, isn't it? It was in 3rd place. The only real problem is the feet. Right here, coming around, feet come apart, and then together again. A little short vertical.
439.70. That's fine for Javi. Kozov right on that bubble. Back twister for him to finish. And a chance to qualify. 3.85 or better will give him a chance. And he's heading in that direction. That's a beautiful entry.
Very good. 3.3, spot on with the entry. Hard one to do. Back 1.5, twisting 2.5. Pulls in pike, like the pike position. Locks out on the end. Be in the 70s at least.
Well, still to be confirmed, but Ukraine look like they've got 2 divers through to the semi-final. Abdulrahman will close his account. And interesting leg movements there from the Kuwaiti diver, but a lot of height off the springboard.
Yeah, and he's opting to do it in the tuck position. So instead of 3.3, it's a 3.1. 60.45.
So it's not 300, but this is the big dive of the competition so far today. 22nd position for Zakharov. He has to nail this forward 4.5 or he's out.
It's back on the end.
And that should be good enough, surely, for Ilya Zakharov to book his place. It's going to be tight, though, Chris.
Yeah, it's going to be really tight. It's not the landing that he wanted. He's way back on the end. He's struggling here. He normally has a little pike out. He has to punch out into a straight position. It may be enough. Oh, it's going to be very close.
396.15. He's not convinced. Delac then finishing with the highest tariff dive, this twister that we've seen from a few of the other athletes. This is a big chance for him. Oh, just unlucky at the end. That looks so good.
Yeah, he wobbled around on the end. Throw. Now the double twist. 1, 2. He's wobbling, and the arm comes all around the side the wrong way.
May not be good enough though. 374.60. 17th position. Looks like that's it. Bergslian to sign off. Oh, Chris, this is fast and furious stuff, but we're seeing names dropping left, right and centre. Zakharov made just to spoil the party for everybody.
I was looking down at his score. It's 170 points less than what he scored at the Olympic Games to win that gold medal.
So Bergslian departs. Paparounis with his forward 4.5 to finish. Still with a chance to qualify, the Greek diver, but this one has to be good. Scores really racking up well into the 400s to make top 18 by the looks of it, unless Zakharov can squeeze in just below in the 390s. And that should be fine for Stefanos. Not his best dive, but he'll have the tariff to protect him.
Yeah, moving forward, a little bit low, not quite up as high as the 5 metre, and definitely can do some work on the tuck position with those flat feet.
That's fine. So qualified: Law, Kvasha, Fek, Ilana, Castillo, He, Sho, and Kuznetsov, and Chinkai as well, just been confirmed. Paparounis should be through as well, as Pupo signs off Cuba. And a little bit of work to be done for him, but he's dived pretty well. Dived well in the synchro competition also with Hernandez.
Good start. Excellent tuck. Just rolls onto the top of the shoulders there, going through the water. 3, 2, 1, so he's out.
Gomez, 43rd position, so another diver that will not progress. Dominican Republic have had a tough day of it, especially with what's happened to Alvarez, but he looks okay. Came out to dive in the last round, did Alvarez. Gomez keeps it super safe away from the board.
Decent dive to finish. Easy one. 3.0. We've had 4 of those over the 6 rounds.
De Bruin and Patrick Harsding now confirmed as qualified after that score from Gomez. Benedetti, 25th position. This has to be massive. He's just not been there today, has Michele.
Yeah, just not consistent enough. 3rd round dive was the best. That was his back 2.5 at 70 points. But just not really high enough on those dives to get the final entry.
So Michele departs. Christian Ipsen to guarantee his qualification for the semis. Ooh, a little tight with the feet at the end there, close to the board, but he's through.
Yeah, leaning back, pulling with that shoulder. Just watching the toes as he passes, all very close. Judges may mark him down for it.
No, he's fine.
One judge down there with 6s.
4:13.90. There will be no semi-final place for Evgeny Karalio. So he's in with 3.5, his last competitive dive today. Unfortunately, that is the story of Evgeny's competition. Just not finishing anything, really.
Yeah, he's got the throw, but not the jump. And, of course, not the time to line up for a straight entry.
So Evgeny waves goodbye. As Vinko Paradzik takes to the board. I think in terms of personal goals, all of the athletes that know they wouldn't make top 18 will have set themselves a target. And Paradzik has been about 80% there. Just that one mistake has cost him. And unlucky. Just let it wash over at the end, but the twisting phase was good.
Yeah, very good twist. Drops his arms in the hurdle. But here, the twist is good. But now, not tightening up on the stomach. You see the loose back causing the feet to go over.
So car exits the competition. Yona Knight Wisdom will not be going through for Jamaica either. Twister in the third round, and that looked good. Another twister to finish.
It's back on the end.
What a dive to get round, and he's done it. A lot of support from the British divers who know Yona well.
Again, just needs to work. If you're going to be a spring diver, work on the takeoff so you're in balance and go up in the air, not forward.
56.10 for 339, and a wave goodbye from Knight Wisdom. So Jamaica's diver is out. Grant Nell. Miss put him in trouble, but got himself back in business with the last round. Needs this twister to book his place in the semi-finals for Australia. Beautiful twisting dive, an absolutely glorious entry there from Grant Nell.
Yeah, that's the way to finish off. Is going forward a fraction. Great twist, finishes high because it is such a fast twist, and gets the vertical entry. Was in 16th place, but is well into the 400s.
Great dive from him. He's through. Pushes Zakharov down another position, but it looks as if Zakharov's going to get away with it. Gorshkovska's off as well, and Blaha is going to be the last qualifier on 3.85. Hernandez can't affect the competition. And it's a nice, tidy finish from the Cuban.
Yeah, in with 2.5 pike. Just a little lean over the diving board there. Feet not too close. And an average dive to finish off around.
Yep, so Raul Hernandez is out. That's his last dive of the day. And Zakharov, well, it was nearly his last dive of the day, but he's done it. He's squeaked in. But Jack Law, he's the story of the day in terms of form. Look at that score. 471.85, takes it from Kwasha and Feck in third place. Then it's Javier Lana through as well. Both Chinese divers way off form, so they're outside the top three by a long distance. Then going down through the list, Zakharov gets in 16th. Castro through for Brazil. Paparun is comfortable, along with Harsding and Ipsen. And there's your man from Austria, Konstantin Blaha. Despite that complete mistake on the last dive, did enough to get himself through in 18th position. And goodness me, that whets the appetite for the semi-finals. The likes of Chris Mears missing out at this stage. He's the big name that we've lost at this point, and we so nearly lost the Olympic champion. But Zakharov is through. The question is today in the afternoon semi-finals, can anyone match Jack Law for form? The British diver takes the prelim round in the 3-metre springboard. Well, something on.
I know, I was very surprised with such low score, 385 to get into the semi-finals. We haven't seen that for 4 World Championships.
Well, let's hope we get some more success and some more excitement in the semi-final stage. That'll be up in just over an hour's time here live on Eurosport, and then it's the final of the women's 10-metre platform, and that one should be a great head-to-head for the gold. All sorts happening in the qualification stages yesterday for that. So still got plenty of diving to come. We've got a gold medal as well on hand to finish our day's coverage off. But from me and Chris, we'll say goodbye for now. See you in just over an hour.
Live the World Swimming Championships with EDF.